Just so you know, don't turn off your camera though. That's my one request. You can leave and go. We won't call on you when you're not here, but don't
Oh,
don't turn off your cam. All
okay.
right. Bitcoiners, we are live. This is Bitcoin Magazine Happy Hour, and this is a particular group that is very, very close to my heart. At the beginning of all of the COVID craziness, Joe Rodgers and myself, we began a friendship, and that friendship was christened over the creation of a Telegram group called Citadel Chefs, where a safe place for people to both Bitcoin and talk about food. So for all the Bitcoiners out there who are passionate about doing more than just your average ramen meal, that's what Citadel Chefs was for. And out of that bloomed a beautiful community. And with us today are some of the most active members of the Citadel Chef community. So I'm excited to have each and every one of them here on Bitcoin Magazine Happy Hour. With that being said, this is a show about Bitcoining, and we talk about recent events. This show in particular, we're going to talk about why Bitcoiners should cook, why Bitcoiners should be crafty in the kitchen, as well as a lot of other topics. But that is enough of me. Let's get into our panelists. Let's get into my co-host over here, Mr. Joe Rodgers.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm real excited about this. I feel like the family or the band is back together. I think this is gonna be fun. We're gonna just vibe a little bit. Hopefully no inside jokes. Hope to learn a little bit about each of you, about some of the favorite things to cook and drink and whatnot, and have some good Bitcoin conversation. So I'm gonna popcorn it over to my friend Sister Maria. Why don't you say hello?
Hi, what's up?
I love it.
What's shaking, Peter?
Why don't you introduce yourself? Just like quick intro to Bitcoining slash cooking, I guess. Like, why both? Why both? And that same question goes to each and every one of you when it's your turn. Sister.
All right. Yes, brother. Well, got into Bitcoin about 2016. My husband had been preaching the good word to me since 2011. The devil must have had earmuffs on me. And let's see. I read an article. It was an article with regards to people in underdeveloped countries gaining interest in Bitcoin, and it was really that article that gave me my sort of eureka moment. And so I went to him and I was like, "Hey, oh my God, borderless, decentralized," and he just looked at me like, "Yeah, babe, that's what I've been telling you for the last 5 years." I was like, okay. So anyway, since then we've been walking hand in hand in the Bitcoin journey, and cooking is near and dear to my heart. It's kind of my way of showing love for people. I don't know. I must have a bucket that's my love language, I guess. I love to cook. I love to cook for my family. And I've been cooking since I was 8 or 9. My grandma taught me how to cook. She was from Nicaragua and I grew up in New Orleans. So we sort of married those two culinary cuisines. So I still cook all day, every day, on Sundays mainly. That's all I got.
All right, all day, every day on Sundays. All right, let's roll it over to
After church, of course. After services, of course. Satoshi services.
I want to hear more about those later. I want to send it to a new legend in the Bitcoin space. I think your legacy started in 2019, but now you have definitely established yourself as full legend. Awayslice, Josh, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
It's good to be back in Burbank, Johnny. I think like Sister Maria was saying, like, I think for a lot of cooks, like cooking and food is how we are generous, right? Like it's like how we share with people. And it's definitely like obviously it's more fun to cook for people that like to eat. And so like I do the beefsteaks, and kind of the goal of the beefsteaks is to single out the people that like to eat and get them in one place and feed them and talk about Bitcoin. That's my jam.
It's called a beefsteak.
It's called a
It's
beefsteak.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beefsteak is good.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Bill? What's up, man? What's up, freaks?
These guys have a better story. I cook all the time because I'm a fatty. And so at any given second, it's like, well, I mean, I could just eat this, but if I just take a couple extra seconds, I can make something pretty great. I also am a big Sunday cooker. A lot of that is just bulk grilling, vegetables, meat in bulk. I feel like I'm very good at managing the refrigerator. I like to peak on Sunday with a general drift, wrapping up on Thursday so that Friday is takeout. I think I'm a professional at that, and that's my jam.
I like Bill. I like your constant struggle to impress your kids on your cooking. That's one of my most favorite posts in Citadel Chefs is the battle with the kids to keep them jacked.
What drives me nuts is, like, you've seen the pictures that we share on the loop, and it is clearly kid friendly what I've made. It's not as though I'm trying to get them to eat kimchi with sardines. It's like mashed potato. I mean, it is kid friendly. It's just like, Secretly though, especially with breakfast sandwiches, I might not push him to finish it. I'm more of the, are you done with that? You're all done? I'll finish it because it's awesome.
Yeah.
I
That's a
love that.
slippery
All right.
slope.
Well, I feel like we have a lot more people with kids on this call than we usually do, but let's pass it to the only other person on the call without kids. Brandon, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, CK? Love this panel. Love Citadel Chefs. If you don't know what Citadel Chefs is, you should probably feel bad about yourself because you're missing out on the best subculture in Bitcoin. Ask CK for an invite. You probably won't get one, but if you're lucky, maybe he'll let you in. Regarding food, I heard Nicaragua earlier. I'm a big fan of Gallo Pinto. Love that. Food to me, though, is all about the ingredients. So I like finding weird stuff. Usually that's wild mushrooms or game or fish I catch myself, stuff I find in the woods pretty much. And cooking is kind of a creative outlet. Spend a lot of time on the computer, analytical brain. Then I go in the kitchen, just make a mess, throw some things around, have fun. It's a de-stressor, kind of like, focus. And also, like many people here, it's the way I show love to those around me. And I think that makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint as well, because, you need food to survive. And so you're hanging with your homies around the fire, sharing food, and you share food with the people you love and the ones who, have your genes. And so I think there's something about it that we might not be able to put our finger on, but that we definitely feel a connection there. Tying that to Bitcoin, I think it's pretty obvious. You think long-term with Bitcoin, it just kind of forces you to have that mindset. And food is such a low time preference move, right? You can either eat shitty food or you can take your time and eat good food. And the good food obviously matters long-term. Sound mind, sound body, that kind of thing.
I'm practicing self-love then. That's how I treat it. And then the leftovers, sure, my wife and child can have.
I'll also grub on some trashy food too, for self-love reasons.
Well, yeah, CK said you almost dismissed ramen, like, hey, nothing wrong with, and then even if you take the packaged ramen, you can maybe get some mushrooms that you forage and, make a little something.
Dress it up.
Yeah, dress it up.
The yin and yang of processed ramen noodles and then foraged mushrooms together. It's perfect.
It's the perfect balance.
Hey, what
So
would be a like guilty pleasure food that you'd be maybe embarrassed about? Anyone have anything off the top of their head?
For me, it's Popeye's fried chicken.
A Whopper.
A Whopper.
Oh God.
Easy answers.
Why BK is foul? I'm sorry.
I have no answer because I wouldn't be embarrassed by any of it. I would happily eat the shittiest food.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not embarrassed by Popeye's fried chicken, but it is what I would consider my guilty pleasure for sure.
We have a new one out here, crunchy chicken. I don't know if you've been there, but it's like they're in almost like gas stations.
With a K.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Never been there.
Me neither. No, me neither. I would never. I'm just saying it might be
Bomb.
good. It might be delicious.
Josh, did you partake in the great chicken sandwich debate last year? Did you have a dog in the
No, I
fight?
didn't. I feel like I didn't. You know what? And you know what it is? It's like I go to Popeyes so seldom. I want my thing. I want my spicy chicken thighs, and I want out of there. I'm not gonna waste a Popeyes trip on a fucking sandwich. Can I cuss on this thing? Is that all right? Is this a family
Yeah.
show?
Yeah.
It's not family.
Cussing and drinking. That's what it's about.
Oh.
All right. So that's my thing. I never tried it. Everybody loves it. It's like, how could it really be? How good could it be? Did you try it? Has anybody tried it?
I've tried them. I've tried every chicken sandwich at every fast food chain. Yes.
And what do you have
It was good.
What's the story?
I would eat it again for sure.
Well, no, what's
Chick-fil-A,
the
Maxi? What's my
the winner?
stack rank?
Yeah.
Out of the top 3 would be Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich,
Wow.
Popeyes, and then Chick-fil-A. I think Popeyes is probably the most complex and highest quality out of them. Chick-fil-A probably second, and Wendy's third.
Wait, so then why is Wendy's your top pick?
Yeah, you
I didn't
the
say.
ordering just changed right there.
I think his first listing was in no particular order, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. And that first was my top 3 was no particular order, and then a stack ranked
Understood.
best to worst,
Gotcha.
or worst to best. Popeyes is the
Okay.
best. Chick-fil-A second. Wendy's third.
All
For
right,
the record.
I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot.
Are you
Has
still
anyone
in-
noticed?
Oh,
No.
sorry.
Bill.
Are you still in New Orleans, Sister Maria?
I am.
Are we gonna get any like Boudin pictures?
Oh God. Okay, the best boudin I've ever had was on the way to Lafayette. It's
Yes.
a little tiny store, best boudin. But yeah, I'll be sure to put that on the menu.
Yes.
So I got married in New Orleans, and our honeymoon was just like drove out west towards Lafayette and like stayed in little Airbnbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we hit all those Boudin and Cracklins places. That is like my thing. I love that stuff. And I haven't had it in forever. I really miss it.
Forgive me for being completely ignorant, but what the fuck is a boudin?
Kick him
I've
out of
been
the
to New
loop.
Orleans once.
Kick him out of the loop.
Ban him.
He kicked me out.
Describe it, Sister Maria.
Pork, and the people can cook it different ways, but pork with rice, fried, and Billy's Boudin has this. I mean, it's like sausage in this casing. It's got such a it's a party in your mouth. Spices, perfect flavor, crunch.
I
It
think
is really good.
the rice makes it like if you're hungover, it's like it's a nice filler that way. So even in that sort of situation, it's awesome.
CK,
I need it for
you
tomorrow.
can either get it in a sausage link, like it's stuffed inside a sausage, or they'll actually take it out of the sausage and they'll roll it up into a ball and it's fried. It's called Boudin balls.
Yeah,
And both are fantastic.
absolutely.
Damn. I feel like I haven't lived yet.
Wait, so you've never been to New Orleans?
No, I've been to New Orleans, but I haven't had boudin.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's kind of hard to get in New Orleans proper. Like I haven't had many good ones in there. They kind of have it at like, yeah.
Sure.
It's been a while. I guess I'm almost not looking for it when I'm there, but I don't know any places in New Orleans where I've had like what I would say was a good one.
There's some places, but it's probably it's not as advertised to tourists.
Sure.
It's more like Cajun Creole type restaurants that are advertised.
I have to confess, I've also never had a boudin, and I did have to Google it.
What do you think after Googling?
Very embarrassing. I'm in. I'm very much in. It looks just like Sayua, Chiang Mai, Northern Thailand sausage. They mix rice, ground mincemeat of any kind, and lots of like Thai spices, galangal, lemongrass, turmeric, stuff like that. But it's kind of like a more than a meat case meat, spicy, flavorful. I'm in.
Galangal's an ingredient I wish I used more. Right, I'm on the West Coast. I can get it at Ranch 99. I get it; it's gingery, but I get it once in a while, and then I'm like,
Make some Thai food, man. Just get out of your box a little bit. Like, come on.
All right.
I'm putting this on you.
I'm opening up. I'm in a vulnerable place. I'm letting you guys know. You don't have to yell at me.
Yes, Joe knows. I all I do is yell. I'm a yeller. So yeah, I want to ask. Cuts of meat. Number one uncommon cut of meat. Can't say ribeye. Can't say filet mignon.
Tongue.
Favorite?
I don't know.
Is that what you're asking? Favorite?
Like, just give the listeners like some of your secrets. Like, we have some established chefs here, right? Like,
I think tongue is
underrated meat. I want to hear it. I'm ignorant.
Okay.
I'm ignorant. I'm a ribeye, filet mignon, whatever. Like,
you're so
Chuck,
filet
what the
mignon.
fuck is that? I don't even know what the fuck to do with it. Where
Yeah.
do I start?
I made tongue one time, a beef tongue. It's super simple. You boil it up. Long story short, my roommate at the time came in, looked in the pot, and a cow's tongue is large and disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And he was horrified by what was going on. Absolutely horrified. Let's fast forward in time the next day. I come pop it home. I open the refrigerator. Fuck. Hey, bro, did you eat all the tongue? And he was like, yeah, it was pretty good cold with mayonnaise. So it's a sneaker where, like, at first you think it's disgusting, but then fast forward, you're like, dude, this is really good. So I'm throwing out tongue
really
as
good.
there.
Lengua tacos are my favorite. Like, I always order them, and then my fiance is like, fuck you, bro. Like, come on, why do you have to get the lengua again?
They're good tacos. They are good tacos.
They are.
I don't know if this is, I don't know how private we want to be, but there were sweetbreads at the most recent beefsteak.
Those are good. I like sweetbreads a lot. Just grilled up like that.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like the
Awayslice.
It's the thymus gland of the cow, and it kind of runs along their neck. It's really funky looking when you take it out. I mean, it's all globular, and I mean, it looks very much like a gland. But if you get like Bitcoiners drunk and wait for the sun to go down, you can grill it up in it, put a bunch of salt and lemon on it and like slice it up, and you put it in front of them and they'll just eat it. Because it is delicious. If you don't know,
Did you serve that on my roof?
No, I didn't. I think I couldn't get it.
I would have loved to go for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, California has too many regulations. Can't get that shipped to.
Yeah, maybe that might have been it. Actually, I have no idea. I don't know why I couldn't get it, but I did try to find some weird stuff out there. I just couldn't find it. Austin was a little bit easier to get that stuff.
No rules in Austin.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous that you guys went to the beefsteak. I mean, obviously, Awayslice, you made the beefsteak happen. But Bill, you went. We sent Andrew Fisher from the Bitcoin Magazine team. Like, I'm so sad that beefsteak 2020 didn't happen, because I was planning for it to happen on my roof again, and just such a shame.
I had never been. That was my first one. I was easily underprepared for the amount of food. I was underprepared for every aspect of it, and I don't want to say that that you tried to kill me with gluttony, but like it seemed like you might have been trying to kill me. There was.
Did you read the website about what a beefsteak is?
I did, but even when you just don't. Also, though, I got excited right when the first sort of, I'll call it a pile of meat came out. Everybody's there. It's all Bitcoiners. It's all Bitcoin talk. You're psyched to be there. You're drinking beers, and all of a sudden, meat arrives. I may not have paced myself appropriately. Looking back, I could have maybe slowed it down in the beginning, tossing it out there.
Unpopular cuts of meat. Tripe. So my grandma used to make a soup called mondongo, and basically it's tripe soup. I don't think she told me that's what I was eating when I was a kid, because I probably wouldn't have, but I tried it. It's really, really good. I don't think I knew what it was until I was older. And then I realized it was intestine, and it tasted good. So But anyway,
Do you
mondongo,
make
that's
it?
what we call it in Spanish, mondongo
Do you,
stew. And
do you make it now for your kids?
no, no.
Do you
Mm-mm.
still like it?
I do. I do. I haven't had it in a while. Let's see. It's been a while, actually. My grandma passed, so she's no longer with us. But she left me all of her recipes. Quite a lot of nacatamales. Brandon, you said you know about Nicaraguan food. Special tamale in Nicaragua called nacatamale, and it's made out of banana leaves. Well, it's wrapped in banana leaves. It's amazing. She taught me how to make them.
Nature's parchment paper.
Yes. She showed me how to when I was a kid. She'd take me out back. We'd cut the leaves off. She showed me how to wash them, clean them, boil them, and then make the tamale. I mean, this is a whole process. It wasn't just like a 2-3 hour thing. This thing was like a 2-3 day whole thing. Yeah. And gallo
Brandon,
pinto,
no.
that is a staple. I mean, we eat that breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can
What?
just so
Yeah,
I
what is
gave it to my
gallo
husband,
pinto?
and it just did
Yeah,
not
what'd you
settle
say?
well in his stomach.
What's it called?
Gallo pinto, Gallo, pinto, Pinto. It's a Nicaraguan dish, and basically it's just beans and rice. It's cooked in a special way. It's great. We eat it breakfast, lunch, dinner with tortillas, not tortillas, just plain. Some people actually put cream on top of it, like a little bit of sour cream. I know that sounds gross, but it's amazing.
No, it doesn't. That did not sound gross.
Some people it doesn't. Like my husband does not like sour cream. And so when he saw me eating it, he's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's beans and rice." And he's thinking beans and rice New Orleans, style. Oh, with sour cream? What?
It is not just beans and rice. There's some magic sprinkled in there. I don't know how it
This is
happens,
true.
but
This
it's
is
1 +
true.
1 = 3 for sure.
Man, once again, I feel ignorant. But Quittem, what's your unpopular meat? And then I have a story myself.
Yeah, so if we start with a cow, I like beef ribs. I think a lot of people like pork ribs. I like beef ribs. They just are hard to cook. So I like to smoke them for a few hours and then throw them in the slow cooker forever. I think those are special. I think it's like most flavor you can get on a cow. But also beef liver. That's the one I have to mention for the cow. I've been chirping a lot on that with Twitter, and people like to whine about it, but I don't think it's that hard to cook. Just sear it, don't overcook it, give it some strong flavors, and you feel like a god afterwards. It really is nature's multivitamin. My
Mhm.
wife freaks out if I don't cook it for her every single week. So that's a staple in our house. But the real one I want to mention is halibut collar, which is the shoulder of the fish. And it's not a very popular cut of meat in the West, but the Japanese love it. I think other Asian cultures do too. But it's kind of like a chicken thigh of the fish, lots of connective tissue, bones. It's kind of unruly. It's not this like, pathetic little fillet with no skin. It's like, you're eating an animal. And I had them for the first time a few months ago, and I think it's my favorite cut of meat of all time.
Yeah.
Just more flavor, more fat, more oily, and you get these little slender pieces that are like living in between a crevice, and you just like pull it out with chopsticks, and it's like this perfectly steamed in bone tender. It's the best thing you can possibly eat.
A lot of times, if you're at a sushi restaurant, even not a fancy one, they're getting the whole fish in, and so it's always worth asking if they have like hamachikama or anything, and sometimes they do, and they're like, "Oh yeah, absolutely," and it's just a thing that you can get off menu or on menu, but it's worth asking at just a regular place. It's definitely worth the ask.
The collar
Wait,
of
so
any
what is
fish
the ask?
delicious.
This intrigues me, and I if I went to the place and I tried to be like, "Yo, can I get that shoulder of the fish thing?" They're like, "What the fuck are you talking?"
They'll call it
collar. It's a collar. It's like the part right behind the gill of most fish, right? Like you just said halibut, so it's shaped a little bit differently. But for every fish that swims upright, it's kind of like there's that line, and if you take the head off, like behind the gills, there's this big chunk of fish that has a bone in it that goes there, and it's just really good. And they can only get so close to it because it like messes up your knives and stuff. So they leave like it has a fair amount of meat on it, but you have to dig it out. Like they just roast the whole thing, and then you just got to dig all the meat out of it. And it is super delicious. I think that's a great thing that a lot of people don't go for or buy, whatever.
Nice.
On halibut's is a flatfish, like a flounder, right? So they have the other one that restaurants will have. Some will have it on their menu if it's like fancier, but the lesser, not as fancy. It's called ungawa, and it's the fin. So I always do this when I said it and ask if they have ungawa. So it falls this way, and then there's a piece of fin that runs along the top, and it's chewier, and maybe they'll squirt lemon on it. But generally, if it's a fancy place, they're going to have it on their menu because people will order it. If it's a regular place, no one's going to order it, so they have it. And so then if you it's always just worth asking, and then it comes out, it's got a real different texture. No harm in asking every time.
Totally.
So ingawa is the part of the fish, or that is a type of fish?
I think it's ungawa. I do this and it seems to work. I say, do you guys have any
Fair
ungawa?
enough.
Yeah, if I just say ungawa, they kind of look at me because I'm not saying it right. And if I do this, it's like, oh yeah, let me check. Ungawa.
Ah, okay. Google says it's the muscle of flatfish or right-eye flounder.
But it's along the top of the fin, so it's almost like segmented. It's awesome.
Love it. I love this question, by the way, CK. Great question.
Yeah, I agree.
What's yours, CK?
Oh yeah.
So I was 15 years old. My dad and my uncle, they owned a Moroccan restaurant in San Pedro, California. And rabbit was on the menu, but it's always cheaper to get the whole rabbit instead of, pre-butchered rabbit, right? So, whole rabbit comes with rabbit heads, and you're not really serving rabbit heads at the restaurant. So what do you do with rabbit heads? You boil them up. So 15-year-old me hanging out at my cousin's house. My uncle brings out a big pot and he's like, guess what's for dinner? Rabbit head stew. So we're just sitting here and, I'm embracing it at first. And I'm like, wow, this is tasty, like cool, like digging into the rabbit head. And it just starts to sit with me, like what I'm eating. And I'm just like fishing out the tongue and the eye sockets and this kind of just like the weirdest shit of the rabbit head. And then there's like a rabbit head that had a little whisker hair left on it. And I was like, I'm not really into this anymore. Like, I'm gonna back out. I'm done with this. So that was the last time I had rabbit head stew, but it was a hell of an experience. I'm also a pho enthusiast, and I've had my fair share of tripe, and I just can't do tripe and pho. I don't know why. So can't do that. Love lengua tacos. That's my shit. Yeah, that's my story. I don't know. It's not that great.
I love so the hair, like the feather, the hair, or a piece of bone, or a piece of scale. I know you're not, they're supposed to have taken care of it for you at the restaurant. I love it because for me, it represents the fact that this is like a very real ingredient, right? And it is still semi-real. Not that I need to be in touch with it, but it's not layers away of whatever they did to it. So I sort of secretly love getting a little piece of bone or a little piece of hair or a feather in the mix.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question of everybody? Maybe we can come back to this. What is the thing that you can't stand in food? And I have two things that really completely turn me off. And one of them is getting a piece of eggshell and a bite of scrambled eggs, because it is like fucking chewing on gravel. It is the worst. It is like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like if I hit that, if I get like a big chunk of shell and a plate of scrambled eggs, I can't take another bite because I don't know if there's going to be another piece in there, and it is like the worst thing in the world to me. And then
I'm sorry. I have to stop you. I'm sorry. I'm taking your thunder, but John Vallis, the host of Bitcoin Rapid Fire.
Dude, I cannot do it. Oh, I can't do it.
He puts fucking eggshells on stuff. Like he's like, I got this bowl of rice. There's some meat on there. There's a fried egg, and then eggshells on top of it. I'm like, what is this? It's like I like the crunch. Oh my god!
It's like the worst possible crunch of anything. It's like you might as well just crush chalk and put it on top of it. It's just such a terrible sensation.
Wait, was there a second thing that you hate?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to apologize. I just had to call out John because That's disgusting.
In that similar vein, what I hate is, and I don't mind this in other places, in what is like what I would call a traditional Western style scrambled egg, when the eggs start to brown and there's like that smell in the room of like browning eggs. And then like, I know you've been in Asia a lot, Brandon, but they do these like Thai omelets and they bring them out to you and they're just like crispy and brown and delicious. And I love that. So I don't mind. It's not all browned eggs. It's just like when you're trying to make like a nice egg, or if someone makes you an omelet and it comes out and it's all like nasty and brown. I hate that. I hate brown scrambled eggs. I can't. I don't like that flavor either.
All right.
And then you
Mental
throw some
note: do not
eggshells
make
in
Josh eggs if he comes and visits. No
Yeah.
eggs.
Josh is in
Yo,
charge
if
of
you brown
breakfast
scramble,
for
like,
sure.
if
Yeah,
you brown up a
but
scramble, like, fuck, you blew it. Like, okay, I get
I
a
think
little
so.
brown on an omelet, yeah, but a scramble, like, come on.
But do you
I
guys
hate-
have things like that that just like drive you crazy?
I hate
flavor-wise or
in a
otherwise?
pasta dish when there are shrimp tails on it, because you've set a precedent that you want me to use a fork because it's a pasta dish, and then what's the expectation here? Either take
Eat
the tails
tails,
off.
bro. Eat the tails, you pussy.
No, I mix the tails with eggshells. I make a shake with it.
You
My
can give your
dad also
tails-
does
you
that,
can
and I'm
give your
always
tails
like,
to John.
what the fuck?
Yeah. Just give your tails to John Vallis. He'll put them on stuff for crunch.
My dad
I
says
have
he keeps the
something
tail
I
on there
hate.
for the flavor.
What I hate is anytime I'm going to pick up food for my wife and they fuck it up and I don't check. And when I get home, that's the worst. Anything else, I'll eat.
Yeah.
Let's say they messed up your dish. Are you as mad?
I don't care. No, I never bitch. I'll eat anything, but like they put some fucking mustard on a hamburger. We're going to have some problems for Miss Clancy.
That's hilarious.
All right,
Sis
my thing that
Maria.
I
Oh,
go.
go.
All right, two
You
things. Animal hair. Billy, your comment there about you like seeing some animal hair. It's actually a real product. Like it came from, we grew it instead of it came from a grocery store. I heard from my rancher here in Minnesota that they actually bred the hair of either pigs or cows, I can't remember, to be clear or white or whatever, so that when they butcher it and there's that little bit of hair, the consumers don't see it. So I think that's kind of a funny point, that we're just like so far removed from our food that we actually need to change the genetic. We're breeding for this absurd cosmetic bullshit for these little, grocery store shoppers, instead of actually producing what the cow should have in its genetics. So that just pisses me off. I also don't like when you have a barbecue, you have your friends that come over, whatever, and then someone picks up those stupid plastic trays of all the vegetables and the ranch dressing and they put it on the table. That just pisses me off.
Oh, when guests bring the like pre-made crudité with the little carrot fingers and ranch in the middle.
I actually like those.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I understand your point, but boop,
Little
boop.
stupid baby carrots.
Those are a staple. Wait till you have kids, motherfucker.
Not to
True.
force Bitcoin onto the conversation. God forbid we talk about Bitcoin. Earlier, though, what I would say is I'm in no way a chef, right? But I feel confident that I can make food that people will basically like. And it comes down to, a lot of times for me, I get farmers markets around, and this is back, Brandon, your point about it's the ingredients, right? Bitcoin is the same way, where, you know what, if you just go to the farmer's market, you just walk around, you see what's fresh, you just bring that home, you do as little to fuck that up as possible. You don't double leverage it. You don't give it to a guy to give you 8% more carrots later. You don't fucking fuck with it. You just try to do as little to it as possible. You cook it with a little olive oil, maybe some garlic or whatever your, sort of add-ons are. It comes out awesome. If you just leave it the fuck alone and let it be the ingredient that it is, as long as you started with a decent ingredient, AKA Bitcoin, you're not only going to be good, you're going to be great.
Amen.
It's true. Yeah.
Can't tell if that was a Bitcoin analogy or if that was a cooking analogy, but I think it works both ways.
Yeah, I think that is a good analogy. I agree.
You just got to treat the ingredient with respect.
So I want to bring it
and
back.
choose a good ingredient. Sorry, CK.
Prepaid
So I wanna
dishes
bring
are
it back to-
disrespectful.
What?
Prepaid dish.
He's drunk.
No, the prepared carrot trays are disrespectful.
You're right.
will say-
You're right.
I will
That's a
say-
shit coin of an hors d'oeuvre.
I will
Yeah,
say I go to
that's
this place
true.
by my parents' house, and there's like a $30 entree, and like the veg for it is steamed baby carrots, and it's just like they always want to go there, and I just can't go there because they steam baby carrots and put them on your plate. I'm like, that's so just like, come on, guys. All right, sorry. Go ahead, CK. I feel like you're about to do a little segue. I butted in on that.
Well, no, I mean, we should be segueing to actual Bitcoin topics, but I want to ask about food
Should we?
order. So
Should we?
what's your guys' take on meat maximalism? Because like I love me a good steak. I love meat, but at the same time, like I kind of like vegetables too. I like having the full omnivores selection of ingredients to tap into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I talked to Jimmy Song about it, and because he's a hardcore carnivore, and I find him to be a pretty thoughtful person. I think that ketosis and going one step further and doing the carnivore diet, it kind of becomes this like extreme elimination diet. And there's probably a lot of foods that make us not feel good in just very slight ways that if you do carnivore diet, you're not exposing yourself to, because probably a lot of people don't have sensitivities in the form of allergies or any other reactions like that from meat. Like meat doesn't cause any sort of inflammation or anything like that in most eaters. Whereas things like, vegetables from certain families or dairy or stuff like that, it could affect your body and your joints and how you feel and how you put on weight or lose weight and all those different things. So I feel like I am not a carnivore, and I'm not anti-carnivore. I think people should do what makes them feel good. But I think it would be probably interesting for most of us to try for 2 weeks to see how we feel on it. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
I hate it. I think, listen, you made the Johnny Carson reference that half of the listeners have no idea, because on the bell curve, we're the old guys.
Yeah.
Like, I was alive when it was called the Atkins diet, right? Then it was the
Thank
it
you
changed.
for laughing at that, by the way. I appreciate that.
No, I didn't laugh. I just understood.
Okay.
To be clear, yeah. But it was the Atkins diet, and then there was the one right after that, which was like the 30-30-40 diet. And then it was eat for your blood type, the warrior diet, paleo. And it's just, yep, this is the late, right? Intermittent fasting. It's like, dude, you're just not eating a lot. I get it. If that's what you're into, no problem. It doesn't bother me, right? I can do what I want. It's not like they're telling me not to. But it's like, you know what? Listen, you're gonna die. Like, yeah, I should not have a cocktail because, right, it might inflame me or whatever. I shouldn't have a cigarette every now and then. I shouldn't do a whole lot of things that I do.
Totally.
But if the choice is here that like I do those things and I die at 92, or I don't do those things and I die at 97, yeah, okay, I'll make the trade. 5 years for that
Popeyes.
shit sounds awesome.
Popeyes. That's my Popeyes.
Exactly. Yeah. Popeyes.
You
Cool.
high time preference motherfucker. That's what you are, Bill. Just never forget it. As long as you embrace it, it's fine, but don't forget it.
The not to talk Bitcoin again. I will say that Bitcoin forces you to think about things like time preference and and like what money is, all those things. But more and more, sure, I could go buy a cocktail for, in San Francisco, $15, right? Or I can buy a bottle of Bullet, which is a fine mixer, and make 50 cocktails, and then stack little sats, right? No problem.
Yeah.
So thank
Drunker
you, Bitcoin.
and richer. It's a
Drunker
win-win.
and richer.
Love it.
CK, I love how every time you and I hang out, we're definitely gonna keep the wheels on. Got things to do. We are not gonna get drunk. That is definitely not gonna happen. Fast forward 1 hour. You're just like, so are you driving home?
Yeah, I think I can count on my hand. I think I have like easily a top 10 most drunk moments in my life that are like way drunker than all the other drunk moments in my life, and at least 3 of them are with Bill. So
And they're
one
always
time
like
I
they're
dragged.
at noon.
They're always day drinking, very dangerous. But I have dragged a Christmas tree down 4 flights of stairs and did not remember 1 second of it after hanging out with Bill once. That's a
Brandon,
fact.
are mushrooms considered meat or are they vegetables?
Macronutrients wise, they're closer to meat than vegetables. I think the carnivore should welcome mushrooms, the meat of the forest, into their diets. I don't know what they're going to think about that, but the answer is they should, and if they disagree, they're wrong, and that's okay. Regarding diets, I have lots of thoughts here. One, yeah, to Bill's point, they keep popping up, little fad things and whatever. I think there's some deep-seated human thing, again, going back to evolution, very deep-seated thing about what you and your in-group eat and how important that is. And the other tribe, they do corn and we do wheat, so we fight or whatever. And so I think there's something deep there. With regard to like all these different diets that claim and they show these results, and it is true, right? Like if you go vegan for a month, you might feel better. If you go carnivore for a month, you might feel better. But what is the cause there? Is it because you're eating only animal products or plants, or is it because you stopped eating the standard American diet? You remove the seed oils and the sugar and all the nonsense that we normally eat. My belief is 80% of the benefits actually that. And so then you have to look a little bit more long term. And what you find is that an animal-based diet seems to have better effects based on my research. But, I eat carbs as well. I find that I do better with lower carbs. I eat fruit regularly. I think the carnivores accept fruit because it's not trying to kill you. It's like plants, they can't run away, so they create chemicals to defend themselves. Fruit actually want to be eaten, so they make themselves nice, sweet, and juicy. So we eat them and poop out the seeds. And so, yeah, for me, it's lots of meat and fish. Maybe I eat carbs for dinner every other day. I try not to eat carbs until dinner because I'm mentally sharper if I don't eat them. But I think all the like food maximalism is kind of silly, and we should just like figure out what works for us. Although most people aren't going to do the work, they're not going to actually figure out what works for them. So they like things to be simple and they like to be told what to do. Yeah, that's it's a bunch of jumbling thoughts.
I caught it, and the I want to write a book that's called "Every Diet Works," because it does. It doesn't matter what your fucking diet is. Don't eat this. Do eat this. Suck lemons. Don't suck lemons. That's an old Susan Powers joke for the old people in the crowd. But bottom line, no matter what diet you get on, what happens is you're forced to read ingredients to see if it meets whatever your diet needs are. So all of a sudden, you're paying attention to what you eat. And that's where it changes.
That's true. I agree with that 1000%. Just paying attention to what you guys are saying about it.
What you guys are kind of describing is like, okay, dieting is like a forcing function for you paying attention to what you're eating. Personally, that's why I like home cooking. It's like home cooking is that forcing function. And honestly, it's really hard if you're home, like maybe the Southerners that here can say, no, bro, you're wrong. But I think it's really hard to make something that's unhealthier than what you get out on the streets, right? Because like you can put a shitload of butter into something and like you're still twice as healthy as like some other shit that you're doing. So like if you're home cooking, it's like a forcing function to be healthier, even if you're making what you consider to be something that's decadent as fuck.
I don't want to.
That's one of the reasons I really like home cooking.
I don't want to put Sister Maria on the spot, but I feel like, and it has nothing to do with me trying to be healthy. I like to grill and things. So sort of by nature, not going to be those sauces that maybe are more predominant in the Louisiana food culture. Where I would hope to believe, I hope that you now say, oh yeah, no, my cooking is very unhealthy. It is rich.
So there's a lot to unpack here. So with Louisiana cuisine, a lot of people use the word Creole and Cajun interchangeably. They're actually two very distinct ethnic groups with their own unique history and traditions and cultures. Cajuns actually are Acadian descent. They're the French colonists who settled in Canadian maritime provinces like New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and all that in the 1600s. They were exiled by the British and then they relocated to Louisiana. Cajun French. If you don't know what that sounds like, just throw on Waterboy and his uncle. That's what that sounds like. And we do say, like, I throw in some Cajun words every now and then. I say "sha," I say "frissons," for chill bumps. And then Creole. There's some debate amongst New Orleans historians that where they came from, but as a general rule, they consist of individuals of a European and African and Caribbean Hispanic descent that were born in New Orleans with a French or Spanish ancestry. And there's also a whole culture that actually gets left out that not all the people talk about, called Isleños. And a little quick history, I won't go into the whole thing, but when Christopher Columbus was going to go and venture into the New World, he stopped at the Canary Islands, which are off the west coast of Africa. And long story short, Isleños arrived in Louisiana. So they brought in that culture. Now, with that said, and my grandma being from Nicaragua, she really was the one who taught me how to cook. And we kind of married those two. But so me growing up, I didn't really pay attention to health or organic and that sort of stuff. It was
I love everything you've said so far. I absolutely love it. When you married I want to talk more about when you married those two cultures of cooking, and then you followed it up with the multiplier called, and we didn't pay attention to health. What I heard was, so we made awesome fucking food. Keep going.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, that's the TLDR version. It was awesome food. As I got older, I started paying attention to more of nutrient dense food and that sort of stuff. And then being a mom, that changed everything. So, I'm pregnant and I'm trying to make sure I'm eating exactly what I need to be eating. And I don't want to be putting anything in my body that doesn't belong in there. So that really was my sort of catalyst into this whole eating nutrient dense food, sort of organic stuff. So I've kind of taken now my own twist on all of the foods that I've cooked. I've sort of added a healthy. So when you guys come over and eat, it's going to be New Orleans culture food, but with a health twist to it. And really, what
is it still dank is the question though, because if you
Can
sacrifice
give
dankness, then I don't know if it was worth it.
Yeah, can you give us an example of what that would be? Is that like, does that mean you're putting like kale and red beans and rice or something, or how does that manifest?
Okay, so for example, this is just something off the top of my head. My little girl, one of my little girls has a pancreatic issue, so we have to be careful. There are some dietary restrictions in there, and unfortunately, flour is not something that she can really eat. But she loves gumbo. She loves everything that has roux based. So anything roux based, and as you know, roux, butter, and flour. So I've had to find a substitute, and cassava flour is a good substitute. So some New Orleans people might cringe when they hear this, like, oh my God, she makes a roux with cassava flour. But
fuck them.
It's actually amazing. I made it. I didn't even tell my husband, and he tried it, and I told him, hey, that's cassava flour. It's like, really? This is awesome.
That's the same as if you're using okra or not. You know what I mean? That's just preference.
That's a big fight too. Some people put okra. Some
tomatoes.
People put tomatoes. Right. But again, that goes back to the whole Creole Cajun thing. So there is a big back and forth between, you get a school of people that put tomatoes in, some people that don't, and they call it sacrilege, but it's just really Cajun Creole. But what you guys were saying about health, the way I look at it is the way one person's body responds to certain nutrients may be entirely different from the way another person's body responds. Your unique genetic code will impact how your body absorbs and utilizes numerous nutrients. So it's not really this one size fits all approach to nutrition. Each of us have a unique nutritional needs based on our particular genetics. So I kind of with my daughter having her health issues and whatnot, I implemented everyone in the family to do what's called MRT testing, and it's blood work, and it quantifies the inflammatory responses to certain foods. So it's sort of a indirect method of accurately measuring mediator release. So MRT does this by measuring changes in the liquids to solids ratio of your blood after your blood has been exposed and incubated to test substances, and it accounts for all reactions by your immune cells. And you get all the tests done, you get this result, and it shows you what your specific code reacts to. So say, for example, we've all heard kale and Brussels sprouts and raspberries, mangosteen, they're all superfoods. Well, that's great and all, but they might not be so super for you. So we all have our own profiles, and I make sure that we sort of stay away from the foods that she can't quite metabolize. And I'm certainly not, I don't want to be so restrictive, like the whole gluten thing. I want to make sure that she has some, so that when her body is exposed to it, it doesn't freak out and go into this anaphylactic shock. So I try to kind of
What was the
toe
test
this
called?
line. What's that?
I mean, what was the test called? I feel like I want to get the test. Like, why not?
Oh, okay. It's called MRT testing. You can I don't know exactly.
I'll Google it. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
MRT, that's easy enough.
yes.
So guys, we are an hour in. Brandon has changed his shirt a couple times.
Hold on, I gotta say something real quick.
Yeah. Okay, Joe, go.
I didn't get to give you my like 2 cents on vegetables. I will have a real hard time in life passing up turnip greens and black eyed peas on a menu. And for that reason, I will not be a carnivore for those like two vegetables. And,
or pizza. There's a thousand.
There's a lot
reasons.
of things.
Yeah.
And I am the biggest LARP on this stream right now. I'm like so one dimensional. My wife shits on me all the time for cooking the same thing over and over and using the same herbs over and over. I'm a creature of habit. I cook some of the things decently, but one of the things that is a specialty, Sister Maria, I make a green gumbo. And it is essentially a gumbo, but you blend up turnip greens, kale, mustard greens, and down in New Orleans, Dookie Chase's wife, she makes it once a year. I think it's on Ash Wednesday, if my history's right. But I make it a couple of times a year. And it is like this one thing that I knock out of the fucking ballpark. And I can cook some other things, but that's like my thing. And I'm, I like veggies and I'll stand by it, but throw some bacon in it.
Well, that sounds awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
fantastic. I'd love to try some.
Listen, I know CK wants to move us forward into Bitcoin talk, but real quick, in defense of veggies, these goddamn
We're
fake meat-
blasphemous right here. All of us here are like pro veggies. It's weird. Nick is not even on the chat. He is just live tweeting and he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with these Chris's?" All right, but go, Bill.
He puts ketchup on his steak. Okay, so like, don't listen to him.
I think. Listen, I'm going to say it. I think there's a whole world of not toxic Bitcoiners. Tossing it out there. Just tossing it out there.
Are you
Back
one of
to-
them?
Yeah. I'm a not toxic Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoiner, but I'm not toxic. Anyway.
You're lovable.
I'm
You get people
lovable.
drunk as fuck. That's true. It's a
Woo.
fact.
All right,
So-
before we move on to Bitcoin, which I don't even know if that's a good idea, but I'll let CK decide. I'm curious what your favorite or what your like secret home cooking ingredient is. And I don't mean like some super obscure, wacky thing that you use once a year. I mean, like, what's the thing that's in your cupboard that you use once a week, once every other week or more, that you really, really think levels up your cooking? I don't know if this is going to be a good question, but I have a few answers here that I would like to share, and maybe we'll see what happens. Number one is fish sauce.
This is a great question. Fish sauce is
Awesome.
a really good one.
Well,
Okay,
you
and
have to
I-
replace salt with fish sauce, and you have to mentally accept that. No.
No. I mean, yeah, you don't want to like do the same amount of salt and the same amount of fish sauce, or like you don't want to do the same amount of salt and add fish sauce. But I use fish sauce probably every single day. And if you're making a dish and it's just lacking that oomph, that umami, that like well-rounded.
Is it like Worcestershire?
Taste?
I mean, like what would I put in?
No.
I have a problem in the South, like where I'm located.
Is that
We're pretty much
MSG?
landlocked.
MSG.
You can order fish sauce off Amazon, like the
I know,
nicest
but
kind.
what I'm trying to get to is like it's a beef and chicken and pork lifestyle where I live. It isn't like I've got a dish to put fat fish in. If I got
no,
fish,
it's
it's
not
gonna be
fish.
fried.
No,
You'd use it.
it's
just
it's like a salt
umami.
substitute.
So like
It's like
Worcestershire
umami
type thing.
subs. No. It's not going to give you a flavor like Worcestershire and it's not exactly salt. I would like to hear Josh's opinion, but I use it as umami. It just like rounds out a dish. I put it in a goddamn pea and basil dip.
It's salty though.
It is salty, but it's not
It is
primarily
salty.
salt. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's salt plus that like rich backbone.
I would call it seasoning, right? Like, because seasoning is accentuating the flavors that exist in what you're cooking, right? So like you add salt, right? But not to the point of something tasting salty, but to the point, the goal is to have the salt accentuate what you're adding it to, right? And if you ate a tablespoon of fish sauce, you're probably not going to like it. But if you put a touch of fish sauce in like a big bowl of something, the goal is to put enough to make it to add deliciousness, but not be able to detect that there's fish sauce in there, right? Like, and I encourage people to do this. Actually, this is a really good exercise that everyone who cooks should do. Warm up some chicken stock, taste it, low sodium chicken stock, or you make it yourself. It's not salted. Taste it. Maybe it tastes okay. Put up just take aside like a cup of it. Put a pinch of salt in there. Taste it again. Put another pinch of salt in there. Taste it again, and like it's going to get gradually more delicious. And then you're going to hit a point where you're like, holy shit, it's like salty. And that's when you cross over from seasoning, right? And then I encourage people to do it again, like think about where they hit the point where they thought it was delicious and then stop there. And then they do that. And then every time you cook, you should be doing that. Taste it, season it, taste it, season it, taste it, season it. And then
I have a quick question regarding
Whoa.
salt. I'm in
Yeah.
a house divided on salt. I'm very like salt averse. My wife is like loves salt, and it's just like constantly not enough salt, not enough salt. What would the recommendation be? Just like, hey, have your table salt, or should I just like man up?
You don't like salt?
Now I'm like, I just like I undersalt everything.
Well, hold on.
Why though?
Well, I just wanted to specify.
I used to
one thing.
undersalt, and I got whipped into place by my lady.
Is it about? So there's two different.
It's not health.
Right? No. One is salting while you're cooking. One is adding salt on the shit at the end. Are you saying your wife likes to add salt onto everything?
No. It's like while I'm cooking, I don't salt enough, but I use other herbs like very much. So it's like salt is just the one I never grab. And it's just, I don't know. My father
Weirdo.
undersalts. I understand. Okay. I'll accept that.
Yeah, man up. That's my vote too.
Yeah, your wife is right.
Yeah.
I think there's
You should correct Joe. You should correct that. I was a weirdo like you, and I was just making my food worse because I was not salting to like the shelling point of where things should be salted.
Well, what about your meat? I mean, the meat can really take a fair amount of salt without being salty.
Yeah, I think that like any kind of beef or pork, like any kind of like stuff on the grill salted properly. It's anything stovetop that I fuck up.
Why do you listen? Emeril Lagasse, people want to shit on this guy. I'll tell you what, he basically created.
Boy.
Well, no, he's a Fall River boy from Massachusetts.
But from Massachusetts.
Yeah. He created the fucking Food Network. He was the first celebrity chef. We can have some good debates of maybe it was Jeff Smith or Yan Can't Cook, but he used to like his little meme before they were called memes was, does your blank pick a vegetable? Oh, do your carrots come seasoned? Mine don't. And so he would be always seasoning as he cooks.
Bang.
Well, yeah, exactly. But like whether it be meat or cabbage or whatever, you're just going to add a little salt or whatever your seasonings are. So why are you okay with salting the fuck out of your ribs or whatever to be sure they taste awesome, but then just treating your vegetables like shit?
I don't know. It's like cumin and paprika and like fresh thyme. I will do all day, and I'm
Yeah,
just
a little
like
salt.
go to the grave. Never salt. It's like I don't know. I have a problem. And
At first, I thought this was going to be a debate between I like more salt, I like medium salt, but no salt. That's not part of the discussion.
Joe, this is an intervention. Sister Maria, speak to the man.
Ooh,
Exercise him. Exercise.
This sounds like I need to exercise the demon. It sounds like you need to come to church on Sunday. Well, okay. Salt. I do tend to cook with salt. Something I use, Brandon, is actually there's a couple things I use. One, for a lot of some Spanish dishes is achote, and it's a natto, and a little bit doesn't really do anything. It's more like a food colorant when you just use a little bit of it. But when you start kind of piling on the tablespoons, it's got this sort of woodsy flavor to it. So I like adding that, almost like a little mild peppery flavor. And the other that I have, and I just go crazy with it, is it's called Slap Ya Mama. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
I've got it in my pantry. It's unopened.
Salt. It's got salt, pepper,
Unopened
garlic,
slapped your mama.
and
He's missing out.
But yeah, I just kind of, it's a good little thing. I throw it on stuff. So I'm not shy. I'm not shy with the slappy mama.
So can you get that online? Slappy mama. I should look that up. I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Have Joe send you his.
What do you put
unopened
slappy
one.
mama on?
I'll send you my jar of slappy
Everything.
mama.
Everything.
I got Tony Chachere's. I put that shit on anything on the grill. It's like a stovetop. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, listen.
I've seen slap you mama. All right.
Yeah, you've seen it. It's
fix
in
your
your
shit.
stores probably.
All right. I don't
Next
need to go
time
to
we
Amazon
meet.
for this.
All right, CK, hold on. Ask your Bitcoin question. Let's go ahead. Let's get one out there.
Hold on. Let me.
Unusual seasoning. We're on this question. If we make it through this entire show without talking about Bitcoin once, I would be okay with it.
I'm
Same.
okay with it.
Same.
Okay. Awayslice.
All right, so this is. I put it in the chat. It is a dashi concentrate, and so dashi.
Why are you hitting on me?
That's right. So dashi is like Japanese chicken broth, and like when you start to get into Japanese cooking, dashi is like the base of everything. But making dashi really well is one. It's super simple, but it's kind of hard to do, and you have to get like special things like katsubushi, which is like a smoked dried tuna that you have to shave and dunk in water and take it out, and everybody argues about how long it should be in the water, and then there's kombu involved and all this stuff.
Hold on, you're making it sound. What am I doing wrong? I just use the bonito. You can get a bag of bonito, and you can get your kombu, and you just you do the shit.
I'm telling you, I'm just saying, it's just one of those Japanese things where it's like it's funky over time. It's hard to do well. Everybody argues about should you just warm the water? Should you boil the water with the kombu in?
Oh, I know. Okay, so what I heard is I'm not making you eggs, and I'm not making you fucking dashi. That's what I just heard. Got it. Check. Got it.
So this thing is like you put 2 tablespoons of this in a cup of water, and you have like what in my opinion is really good dashi, and then from there, like, you use dashi to make all these different ingredients, like the dip for tempura or miso soup, or you put in some soy sauce and some rice vinegar, and you have like a soba dressing. And going back to like Brandon's example of fish sauce and umami, excuse me, that was my beer coming out, and it becomes this like thing you can just drop in teeny tiny bits into everything, It just makes things more delicious. I'm a huge fan of that stuff.
I'm
And I've
so
tried a
into
couple-
this recommendation, by the way, Josh. That's fucking great. Can I buy the one you just sent me? Is that the one I want?
That is the brand that I use religiously. In fact, I've tried many brands, and this is the only one I continue to use. But if you
Stays in the
have a-
fridge for a few months.
you don't even have
Forever.
to refrigerate it.
Oh.
It will stay in your cabinet for multiple months without a
I'm
problem.
so excited about this.
We've got a hell of a list here of recommendations.
Oh, one thing, we talked about this on Citadel Chefs, and a thing that I do regularly with stocks. So first of all, for all our listeners at home, if you're not making your own stock all the time, like just buy the whole chicken. Just buy the whole chicken. It's cheaper. It takes 2 seconds to cut. Even if you're bad at cutting it, I promise you're good enough. Like it'll get close enough. And then
You'll get better.
You'll get better. And then you just throw it in a pot, and then you go in your fridge and you go, oh, these carrots look shitty. Boom, you boil it up. And then
So here's the thing, Bill, is people who are too scared to make stock, they don't have carrots in their fridge that will look shitty. That's the problem with your recommendation, is that they're starting from, I'm a complete fucking food noob and I have nothing in my fridge because I'm pathetic.
Even without the carrots, just the chicken and water will be fine.
I would say that is the thing that I do. Like I do classes all the time, and I always say that to people. Just like, you're cutting up a chicken, get a whole chicken, throw the bones in a pot, barely cover them with water. Like you don't need to put like a tiny chicken bones and like a gallon of water. Barely cover them with water, or cover them by an inch. If you have veggies, great. If you don't have veggies, also great. Like it's still gonna be way better, cheaper than just buying that low sodium.
Way better, cheaper.
Chicken broth or
And
whatever.
by way better, loads way better. It's the gelatin. That's the difference. It's the goddamn gelatin. Anyway, so I reduced mine all the way down to so it's a quart, a pint, right, and whatever this one's called, the little container. So I'll reduce my chicken stock all the way down. You can't really do it with, we talked about this about the lube. You can't do it with fish stock because it gets like weird. But you can reduce a meat stock like really, really thickly. And then from there, is thickly a word? Bigly. Is bigly a word?
Just say thick.
Yeah, thick. And then whatever you're using, you can just take a spoonful. You're making your sauces richer, or you're cooking any vegetable. You're doing that, or you can like add water and then you have regular stock again for soup. Like, there's no reason just to not be doing that with any leftovers you have always. Because what the fuck? Why not? You got the stove right there. Just toss it on.
Home stock maximalist also, and if you're not, you got a problem.
Yep.
So every Sunday I make a whole chicken, and can I just say that Bitcoiners don't appreciate chicken enough? Chicken is it's a beautiful animal, delicious. But I make a whole chicken, and then I always have
Chicken's a vegetable
left over. This carcass left over, and then I turn that into just amazing stock. And sometimes I'm like 5-spice chicken, saffron chicken, turmeric and pepper chicken. Fuck it, just put it all together. Make a broth. It's amazing anyway.
CK, you need to start butchering the chicken ahead of time. Just for practice.
I don't mind the spices.
No, I just mean just for practice. Just for practice.
No,
yeah, just why not? It's fun.
Too much. I want a whole chicken in the oven, man. I'm not gonna butcher it. Too lazy.
Takes
but
seconds.
Hey, can I just best in my opinion, like very easily accessible ingredient that takes your meat up another notch is freaking turmeric. I love turmeric. Turmeric is so freaking underrated, so freaking flavorful. Massive
what are we
turmeric
talking
fan.
here? Just like
I'm drinking
powder?
turmeric tea right now. That's what's in this cup.
Dried powder?
Dude,
or
me
like
too.
fresh stuff, or?
I'm talking just you get turmeric in a seasoning jar and you put that shit on the food you're making,
Like
vegetables,
powder.
meat, whatever. Just put some turmeric seasoning on your shit.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I got a secret. Here's a secret. I'll give you guys all my secret thing. Get your pig feet. You get your pig feet. Boom. You boil that shit. Boil. Whatever. Add whatever you want. Celery, garlic, doesn't fucking matter. Boom. You you debone it, right? You get the toe bones out, whatever. It's so gross to touch. You get it all off, skin and gelatin. Choppity chop, 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 chop. You throw that in the fridge or freezer. You get to a fine chop, and you just have this unctuous, not quite meaty, not, you have this element. It's classic umami and gelatin and whatever you're cooking. Oh, you're cooking some boring ass a squash. Boop, spoonful of this pig foot mixture. It's nearly flavorless. That's not true. It has a flavor, but it's not like it's the flavor. It is amazing. It's so simple to make. I mean, it's so simple to make. Pig's feet, everyone.
I'm coming over and you're teaching me this.
Wait, Bill, so you boil the pig feet, you debone it, you take away the stuff that looks kind of gross, and then you just chop the shit out of it and keep it in a quart container in the fridge, and then just throw a spoonful on whatever?
That's 100% correct.
Genius. Yeah, you could freeze it too, I bet.
You sure can.
Yeah, do a big stock pot, throw half quarts in the freezer.
Yep.
You can make little ice cubes of it and drop it in a cocktail, just to spice things up.
Yes.
Yo, get real keto on this bitch.
Well, a keto cocktail. If you're adding an egg white to your cocktail, you could get protein right then.
I think about that often. Like we went to Peru, and for a long time after that, we made pisco sours. Like when you make a thing of pisco sours, you put 4 egg whites in there.
Egg whites, yeah.
It's so good.
But chia seeds, you can put chia seeds into nearly any drink. It's flavorless. You don't even notice it. The next day, it really keeps you regular.
All right, one more secret ingredient: champagne vinegar. I don't know why people don't cook with this more. It's when you want a little acidity, but you don't want the flavor of the lime or the lemon. You just want a little zazzle.
I don't use enough vinegar when I'm cooking. I actually, you know what? I bet if I had to say, if Joe isn't using enough salt because he's a complete asshole, I'm not using enough acid. May it be lemon. I'm not giving that.
Joe, I heard you're an asshole.
I'm an asshole, but I do make chimichurri all the time, and I load up the vinegar like hardcore. It's one of my newfound passions of 2020.
But you know what I started doing is over herb, so go to the store and buy every herb you see fresh, right? So cilantro, parsley, mint, basil, fucking name it. And then you just chop all that shit up and you put it in your pasta, and you sort of move from that, you kind of have that, not to stereotype people on the show tonight. I come from a generation or a world of it's just the classic, if I'm making pasta, it's Italian, right? So it's tomato, where I think maybe because I live in California now, not to dox myself, guys, not your keys, not your coins, but right, like this idea of
it's a pretty small place.
Yeah, why not use mint and basil and things like that? But tell you what, you get your mint, your basil, your cilantro, your parsley, and then you mix that with your pasta. Game changer. Overloading with fresh herbs in any dish. All right, that's my tip. Overloading with fresh herbs in any dish.
Grow the herbs in your backyard.
Yeah.
You don't want to see.
Do not buy those goddamn clamshells for $3.99 that you use 10% of, and then you throw away 2 weeks later after it's moldy.
Oh, how do you keep these fucking herbs alive? Hypothetically, for people who might do what you're saying not to do, how do I keep them from dying right away? You
mean the plants? How do you keep the plants from dying?
You water them, right?
No, I'm
water them.
Sure.
Good strategy, Joe.
I mean, of course, that's what I would do. I would never be buying the clamshells from the store. But hypothetically, let's say I was. I just don't want this shit to, right? I don't want it to die so fast.
Oh, put your cilantro in a little glass with water, right? Take off the wrapper, set it in there. It'll last 2 weeks in the fridge.
All right.
So wait, can we clarify for a second? Your question, Bill, is how do you keep store-bought herbs fresh?
For the people that would do that, not me. I would never do that. I'm not Joe, if that's the question. But yeah, that's my question.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I think treat them like flowers is the answer, in my opinion.
Oh, so wait till they get moldy and my wife doesn't throw them out?
Yeah. But I mean, you put them in a, like you cut the bottoms, you stand them up in a thing. And if you put them in the fridge, you have to cover them because they will dry out. Because your fridge is circulating air, right? So it'll dehydrate them essentially, even if they are sitting in water. So you set them up in water, and then you need to like put a Ziploc bag over the top of them. Does that make sense? I mean, that's a huge pain in the butt. The alternative, which gets you a little bit less life out of them, is to like rinse them well and put them in a Ziploc bag with a bunch of paper towels.
Yeah, and I wet one of my paper towels. I'm pretty sure that doesn't do anything, but I believe it does. I believe
It does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
Definitely does.
Wait, are we going to talk more about the
I have a question.
mushroom?
I have a salt question.
Yes. Go.
I have salt maxis on here. So when do I use like table salt versus like big chunk kosher
Oh,
salt?
sure. I only use
Can I
kosher.
Can I just say
so-
that every cupboard needs flake salt because your steak and meat is just pussy shit without it.
Yeah.
But when you
Correct.
say table salt, I assume you don't mean classic, like
I
the
mean
shitty
like
salt.
iodized,
Never.
the
So the
little
answer is
salt
never.
girl.
Throw it away.
Okay.
Throw away all your seed oils too.
Table salt is out the window.
What
And the
oils
part of
are
the-
okay? Olive oil?
Olive oil is
Vegetable
good.
oil?
I like olive
what-
oil and avocado oil.
What about grapeseed oil? That's a
Um,
seed.
Throw it
Oh,
away.
wait. Wait, what? Oh, fuck. I have a whole thing.
Is peanut a seed? Is peanut okay?
Throw
Peanut
it
oil?
away. No.
Okay.
I would like to clear up a misconception out there about grilling because I have some friends who are big in the in the crunchy space and everything, and I told them about eating meat and they were like, oh my God, what about the cancer and the grilling and whatnot? Listen, everyone that's out there, stop with these bullshit claims about. Let me unpack this a little bit.
I
There
love
are
you.
some claims that grilled and smoked meats contribute to cancer. This claim comes from a concern about certain carcinogenic compounds are formed when meat is cooked at high heat or dry cooking, specifically referring to three compounds. One is called AGE, and that stands for advanced glycation end products, and then HAs, which are heterocyclic amines. And finally, PAHs, which are polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Okay. These people love to tout this bullshit because, yes, there have been some studies using mice models to show that HAs and PHAs can cause cancer. Again, it's one of these things that has been blown out of proportion because my counter to that is that dietary PHAs come from vegetables and grains, and the levels of PHAs in leafy greens are similar to levels in smoked meats. And another claim is that AGEs cause cancer. But again, my counter to that is that our bodies actually produce AGEs and in some of our metabolic pathways. And some studies have shown that vegetarians actually have higher levels of AGEs, something about the fructose pathway and the way it's metabolized. So I'm not too concerned about that. So if you are concerned and you would like to perhaps err on the side of caution, it's been shown that you can reduce these compounds by using an acidic marinade. So stop spreading fear about grilling and smoking meats causing cancer. That's it. I'm off my soapbox now. I'm sorry.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, fuck yeah. I don't have a follow-up to that. I mean,
That was great.
Jesus. Oh, wait,
I
are we
like
going to
that.
talk about mushrooms and
Yeah, I would like
foraging
to talk about
mushrooms?
mushrooms.
I think
Actually,
that's
can
a
I
great
ask-
idea.
Hey,
Can I
real
ask a
quick, can I just
specific
ask before
question?
we continue on the food
Yeah.
talk, who bought the dip today? Because Bitcoin did dip pretty aggressively today.
Of course, you always buy the dip. You
No,
buy
I didn't.
everything.
I didn't. I thought I do my DCA. Does it automatically? River Financial, just every 2 weeks. I don't know when it happens. It just happens.
I will
All
say
right.
this. We had Chipotle for dinner and I got guacamole, which I consider a dip.
So you didn't buy
dip.
I
Bitcoin.
laughed.
Do you
so
consider
we
cereal
have two
a
people
cold
saying
soup?
we have two people saying absolutely. We have these old fucking gray-haired men saying no.
Whoa,
Because
whoa,
that's
watch it, watch
ECA.
it,
That's
watch
the
I'm
thing.
slightly
I'm
triggered by
mad.
them. Fuck you guys.
I didn't. I
but
don't have any
I was
money.
expecting
I have $0.
payroll.
Payday's
Yeah,
tomorrow,
I think-
motherfucker.
I keep shouting out Nick, but he's back in the studio. I'm pretty sure he's broke as fuck too. So he already bought Bitcoin with all his fiat. Zero.
He's probably
He's
negative.
he's at a negative bank account policy. Unless your checking account is negative, you're not a real Bitcoiner. If your Nick can't mine.
Hey, is cereal a cold soup? Discuss.
Cereal's disgusting.
Cereals for children.
It wasn't the question. Is it a cold soup?
Cereal is bad for children.
And if it's
It
not
is.
a cold soup, why not? Yes.
Technically, oatmeal and wheat germ are cereals.
True.
So
We just
not
quit buying
necessarily.
cereal at our house. We I don't know, like last year, like I guess Bitcoin Twitter finally like got it through my head that this is like poison for my fucking kids. So no more sugar cereal.
Oh,
You know,
no.
it's a small battle. There's a lot of other things we need to get out of the diet, but happy to strike that one out.
How many Amazon purchases have you guys made so far? I'm at
On
3.
this, you mean on this call?
I have a shopping list. Let's
Yeah,
put it that way.
I bought
Yeah.
3 things so far.
I have a little side list going on over here.
Hold on. Let's, Brandon. I'm doing great. I want to go find mushrooms in the forest. The first step to not kill yourself
Yes.
with mushrooms is
My big
what?
question too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Am I
good
gonna
question.
die down south? Going out.
I mean,
picking some
you
shrooms?
you can die if you eat the wrong one, but the idea that that's like really common or something is way overblown. It doesn't happen that much. What I would say is like the conservative approach is go find the local mycological society in your area to catch you up, Josh. The
course.
conservative approach, go find the local group and say, hey, I want to learn, and go to their like planned forays and they'll teach you whatever. I never did that. I don't really like read the instructions. I just like do it. And so my move is to just buy a local field guide for your area, right? You can buy like the encyclopedia book that has every mushroom ever and pages and all the scientific, what the spore size is, or you can buy like the little pocket field book, which will have like 100 or 200 species to your area. And it will give you like the, let's say 25 kind of bulletproof species to go after. And what I recommend is to go after the species that are like no poisonous lookalikes. Okay. And, you know, there might be like 10 or 20 of them that are pretty bulletproof. And only focus on those. Don't try to get the ones where you have to like look up a microscope to figure out the species. The next thing is go on Facebook. It's hard for me to recommend that, but in this situation, it's true. The Facebook groups for foraging are very good. And just search like foraging San Francisco, mushroom San Francisco, whatever. Just join all of them. And what you'll find is that foragers will be bragging about what they found recently. And so what that's going to do is it's going to give you lots of visual samples of the type of species that are fruiting in your location immediately. And then you can say, oh, look, morels are out. Okay, I'm going to go look for that thing, right? And you kind of have something to go for while you're out there. That's probably like 101 that I'd recommend. And then don't eat anything unless you're like 1,000,000% sure. You can take a picture of those and throw them up online and say, hey, did I find a morel or am I going to kill myself type thing?
Well, you know, I had never thought about the, it makes sense when you say it, like there's a certain set of mushrooms that have no duplicates and won't kill you. Start there. If you
Start
that,
very slow. Year one, try to identify, let's say identify 10 species in year one and eat maybe 1 or 2. Okay. And double that every year. That's what I'd recommend.
And you know, mushrooms actually can help elevate your vitamin D level. They
Amen.
transform UV into vitamin D and actually continue to do so after being harvested. Vitamin D is very important, boys and girls.
Yes.
So don't
Sister
neglect
Maria,
it.
coming in hot with the mushroom facts.
So vitamin D is not just a vitamin. It is a steroid hormone. It is a fat soluble vitamin that gets converted into a steroid hormone. It is made in the skin upon UVB exposure from the sun. And our body needs this hormone signal to function optimally. And I'm sure we've heard it.
Staying inside to protect yourself is not the right way to stay healthy.
Right. Exactly. It's so cringe as fuck just going back and listening to all this bullshit about staying indoors and whatnot, because okay, I'm gonna get angry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Look, I get on these soapboxes about
Let out the
all
hate.
this. So roughly 70% of people are vitamin D insufficient. Close to about 30% are completely deficient. And when you run those numbers, that is about 20, when you get your blood work done, it's about 20 nanograms per mil. Data shows the elderly, obese people, and people with more melanin in their skin. Let me explain what happens to the bodies of obese people as it pertains to vitamin D. Fat soluble vitamin D has a much difficult time being released into the bloodstream as compared to their non-obese counterparts, and they have 50% less bioavailability. Don't skimp on vitamin D. Okay, that's the take home here. There is very strong evidence in recent studies showing that vitamin D is protective against respiratory infections, and it plays a very important role in the innate immune response. And again, this goes way deep into a bunch of biochem jibber jabber. Vitamin D is very important. It is integral to protecting and fighting off acute respiratory distress. So eat your mushrooms, kids. Eat the mushrooms.
I have a
That's it.
question.
Get some sunlight. Get some
I-
fucking sunlight too.
Yes.
Quick question about mushrooms. I really don't like mushrooms. Do they all taste like
Get the
store-bought?
fuck. You know what? Enough with Joe. Can we kick him out? I don't use salt and I don't like mushrooms. Got it. I know everything.
like they like.
Let's talk about
eat
it, Joe.
them and
Have
Okay.
you had button mushrooms? That's the primary one that you've consumed, I assume.
yeah, I don't think I like those.
Do you eat them raw or do you cook them with like butter and herbs?
I've
and
tried
make
them
them
both.
awesome?
I've tried them in like a prepared tray that you would get from Kroger with like celery and broccoli on it.
Or
with,
buy.
like,
That's not
Frank's
it.
dressing in the
Oh
middle.
my God.
Oh
Oh,
God.
no.
What's going on right now?
I know you're joking, but I'm my heart is beating out of my chest when you say that.
Is he joking?
I'm not joking. Like I've had them raw. I've had them raw. I've had them in a
We
little
know you're
container.
kidding, and you would never
Joe,
say
you're
that.
ignorant.
I'm for fucking.
I respect your
down here, that's-
confidence coming in here saying you don't salt food and you don't like mushrooms. I have to say.
Joe, we're
Yeah,
gonna
well,
save a
it's-
seat for you right
On the
up front
fucking
in the
cooking
first
episode.
pew on church on Sunday. I'm right there. I expect to see you at church. We're gonna
I
exercise
told
those
y'all
demons.
I'm the biggest LARP on here. I'm just, I've got two
Respect.
big like cardinal sins.
Clancy is
I've
verifying
tried-
all of this in the comments.
I'm sure she is. She's shitting all over me. But I was gonna say, like, I've tried the like mushroom burgers where it's like mushroom instead of like a burger, and I'm not very crazy about that. My question would be like,
Oh, mushroom on top of a burger. Like you
Oh
got a
my
real
God,
burger and you
yeah.
put some mushroom on top of it. That's
Or-
better.
An East Coast steak and cheese with mushrooms and peppers. Oof, Jesus
Maybe.
Mushrooms
fuck.
on everything.
I don't know. The question would be, do they vary in taste that much?
Yes.
Besides like what you get from Kroger, like the button mushrooms.
Yes.
Am
Yeah.
I
So
gonna,
a
like,
couple
am I
things.
missing out on something in life?
Yeah, salt for sure.
All right, a couple things. One, to everyone listening, to everyone who's ever going to listen to this, do not eat raw mushrooms. Okay. You can't digest them. Their cell walls are made of chitin. It's like the same thing that crabs and crustaceans make their shells out of. And so you eat them and you're eating this impenetrable shell that your body just can't extract nutrients out of. Also, many mushrooms have really, really bad compounds in them that are destroyed by heat. Okay, so many mushrooms that you forage will give you horrible stomach problems. However, if you apply heat, you can eat them, including deadly poisonous mushrooms. You can boil them, dump the water, boil them again, and then they're a delicacy. And so always cook your mushrooms. Number two, yeah, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of edible species, and they do have a wide range of tastes. However, if you don't like a button mushroom like cooked very well, I don't think you're just going to all of a sudden love the rest of them, to be honest. So what I would say is, if I see you, I will prepare some mushrooms for you. Otherwise, I'm not sure how to make this easy. Just like cook them on olive oil, cook them with olive oil till the water leaves them. The pan will get wet. Let that water boil off, and then just brown them a little bit. Okay. Then when they're like, they're mostly cooked, lower the heat a little bit, add some butter and some garlic and whatever herbs you have, and just, toss them around a little bit, add a little acidity, add a little salt. And if you don't like them like that, you're probably not going to like mushrooms.
Brandon,
quick.
Sorry, Brandon, you were invited to our Bitcoin Magazine All Hands at the end of June in Nashville. Every single time we do this, David Bailey, the CEO, invites everyone to his house. And Joe, now it's going to be third time in a row, is going to be the honorary meat chef. And Joe actually does a fantastic job of doing the steaks. He does not undersalt them. Good job, Joe. But Brandon, I would love for you to show us how you would prepare mushrooms and put them delicately on top of some of the steak. And Joe, it would be fantastic if I could watch you eat that.
I'm sure I would. I'm sure I'd love it.
Summer in Tennessee is chanterelle season.
I don't want to. It just happens to be that my wife is going away with my kid at the end of June into July. Yeah, if I were to get an invite, I'm not saying I would be there for sure. But let's just think about it.
Meet up in Nashville.
My invite's in the mail. I'll take it.
Wait, we skipped over, Brendan. You skipped over I think of people who don't cook regularly. They might not realize that this idea of, let's say I'm cooking onions, right? I'm heating up the pan, I'm throwing the oil in, I'm throwing the onions in, right? That's what I'm doing. With mushrooms, however, you may start with a dry pan and the mushrooms, which is what I think you just said, sort of casually, but just to call it out explicitly, dry pan with the mushrooms, let the juices get out, and then as it gets drier, that's not exactly the right phrase because the mushrooms don't get dry per se, they just lose some of their high water content to a normal water content where it's much more awesomer. Then add the oil. So that's a little key tip that you sort of would, because Joe, I don't know who was ready for all that. So Joe, you take your mushrooms, you throw them in a pan.
I'm taking notes. I have a Google Doc going right now of everything.
You can watch this on the replay. You can watch this on the replay.
Oh, this will be recorded. So never mind. I'm not taking notes anymore.
So you put your mushrooms in the pan, but you're letting the waters come out. Maybe you're adding some salt to draw out some more of that. Oh, yeah, you won't add salt. A normal human would add salt, drawing out some more moisture. And now as they're getting to this amazing area, now you're adding in the oil to add flavor, but also pull that heat up, right? Up around each mushroom and make them goddamn fucking delicious to put in your mouth.
Okay.
Exactly right.
And then what salt do I put on top? Do I put table
out.
salt or do I put flake salt?
You already threw the table salt and all the seed oil is out.
Well, hold on. You kept the girl with the umbrella. You kept that for like when you're doing that, you're cleaning your bowl. You know what I mean? With the alcohol.
Yeah, like you clean your bong.
Exactly. That's the only reason you have that shit.
Joe, so it's called kosher salt or sea salt, and then flake salt. The Malden flake salt, that's the fucking shit right there.
All right.
Put that on your steak off the
And
grill.
Your wife is gonna love you if you put some flake salt on top of her food before you serve it.
Yeah.
Don't tell her, Clancy. Don't listen to this.
Yeah.
Joe,
She's listening.
even if the
She
oil
knows
is
it's all
wrong.
us.
Yeah. Next time
Joe,
you
do you
put
have-
mustard on her burger, just add some flake salt to it.
Joe, do you have a salt shaker at your house? Like a salt shaker? Yeah. No, salt shaker.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
we got a salt shaker.
If you have anything that you put a salt into, I don't care if it's a grinder or a shaker, go ahead and fucking toss that. Well, unless it's huge chunks. If it's huge chunks, fine. Otherwise,
Awayslice said this to me before, and I immediately threw it away. Josh, I took that to heart.
There's no benefit to grinding salt. there's nothing trapped in salt that is released by grinding it. It's just a rock.
What's the pepper? Piconia or whatever? The oil and pepper for the grinding?
Yeah,
Anyway.
pepper releases volatiles when you grind it for sure, and it smells great and tastes great. But nothing like that exists in salt.
So you just want bowls. You want to be able to grab a lot or a little or who the fuck knows.
Yeah.
Also, Sister Maria, I've decided, is like Inspect a Deck. I don't know how many Wu-Tang fans we have listening today. Again, some of us are older than some of the other people, but Inspect the Deck, remember, he was always like watching you and then dropping bombs. She comes in with like serious knowledge out of nowhere. It's not just like, oh, I like salt. She's like, oh, do you guys know what an MRT test is? I love it. I can't get enough of it.
+1 for Sister
So
Maria.
I actually
plus
saw
one.
Wu-Tang in concert, and I was it was a House of Blues in New Orleans, right at the
Nice.
front. And so Method Man came out, and he opens up, he comes out, and he's doing his thing, and he lights a blunt, and he hands it to me. I happened to be right at the right time, right space.
What are
and
the
he
chances? I was,
hands
front
it to
row
me.
for Wu-Tang.
And I take it, because it's the stage is a bit elevated at House of Blues, and so I take it, and as I'm taking it, all these hands behind me just come and like topple me and try to, but I held on to it. And anyway, that's my claim to fame. Method Man handed
I
me a
didn't
blunt.
in hell.
Let's go.
Remember when weed was illegal? Fuck.
That was the
Hasn't
thing.
impacted my behaviors.
Turkey. Remember when Bitcoin was illegal?
All right, we got
Ooh,
17 minutes left.
Too soon with the rug. You guys, we have almost gone 2 hours without talking about Bitcoin one time. Should we talk about Bitcoin?
We got two
real
important
quick.
things to say.
I've got
One,
something
we
too.
haven't talked about durian, and number two, I want to hear tips from Josh because I want to learn some more.
I want to ask, at least top, favorite hot sauce for everybody.
Oh, Mangin's uncle, Mangin's father, Mangin.
Yeah, Mangin makes a mean fermented hot sauce. I agree.
It has such a.
I think it's called cat paw.
Was that
What he
at
calls
the beefsteak?
Yeah, it was up. We had some of the. He sent some to Austin, and there was some on the table of the beefsteak in Austin.
Oh, cool.
I have some in my refrigerator now. It has such a. I actually asked him. I'm like, I felt like there was a tropical fruit involved, but there's none. I mean, it has a papaya or pineapple.
Can I get
Oh,
a
yeah.
link in the chat for this?
No, you gotta message him.
He's just a Bitcoiner. He just makes it. He sends it to you.
Majin.
Hey,
That's not it.
he's in Citadel. He's in Citadel Chefs.
Yeah, he's in the loop.
So I actually
But
have
this
to. I
is
can't
it.
Is that
order
his?
that on Amazon.
This is
Okay.
him, man. What
He's
do you-
gonna message him.
All right.
I'll tell you what, the shit's awesome.
It
It
is
has
good.
such a.
It does have a very unique taste.
Mhm.
You guys might cringe at this, but I fucking love sriracha.
I love it too.
I love it.
Like
I love it
sriracha.
I
all.
cringe
good.
at it.
Yeah, I think it's all
It's
good.
good.
Yeah.
The cringe-
Overrated.
Of
Most
course, Joe doesn't like
overrated-
it.
Most overrated thing of like the past decade is sriracha. One of the most overrated condiments.
Sriracha
For
by
sure.
itself is delicious. Bacon went through that same thing, like bacon and pork belly. Like, guys, I get it. You can put a bacon in fucking. Oh, we're gonna bacon fat wash your whiskey. Fuck you. It doesn't make it better. Jamming bacon into my Bloody Mary doesn't make it better. Putting bacon on everything doesn't make it better. Bacon is an amazing ingredient and can be used appropriately. But just saying bacon everything, fuck you.
That's how I feel about sriracha. Like sriracha
Yeah.
is this overhyped piece of shit. I've seen like sriracha on keychains, and I think that they're fucking idiots. People who buy those things. But I see
know the
old
person who made
men.
that shit. He made hella coin.
Whatever. That's not the point of this. I think they're idiots. However, I have seen like Tabasco on a holster, and I think that's probably one of the smartest things I've ever seen.
What about Crystal? That's the shit.
Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal. I like all. I
Love
like. I
Crystal.
feel like there's a time and a place for everything. Frank's Red Hot.
Yep.
Like I don't put Frank's Red Hot on many things, but just on anything chicken, Frank's Red Hot is great. I think.
This is called Bitcoin untoxic, right? Everything has a place and a time. You know what, you guys? We're going to start a new movement here. Toxic maximalism. Got it. Good for them. How about awesome, untoxic, loving Bitcoiners?
Yeah. What if we just called ourselves? What if we just like specialize in mild moderation?
Not memeable, but we can work on it.
What that
Just don't overdo
aardvark
it.
hot sauce out of Portland.
It's like butter Maxis.
Hold on,
I've never had
CK, give us.
aardvark. What'd you say,
Parks
aardvark?
is money. Yeah,
I've never even seen it. There's so many hot sauces.
so many.
CK, give us one Bitcoin topic. Just to check the box that this was fucking.
All right. Well, there's a dip right now. According to
Buy.
NYDIG, all of the institutions are buying the dip. That was a whole dip ago, which was like 3 days ago. So now there's a whole new dip. So I'm assuming that institutions are also buying this dip, but apparently institutions are buying the dip now. I mean, I've been talking to Bitcoin Tina. There's been rummagings of, my super cycle because Bitcoin's a legitimate asset now. Like, does Bitcoin have the same type of like blow off tops, massive dip bear market now that Bitcoin's legit and that institutions and rich people think it's valuable? Because that wasn't the case before now.
Okay. You always buy the dip. I've never said that before. They're printing your money.
Buy the dip works every time.
They're printing away your save time daily. Don't be the dude in Turkey who could have taken 15 years of his life if
Or
he
woman.
was the man that was going to steal it one weekend in the future. Super cycle. One of the reasons cycles stay in place, I believe, is because exchange casinos like Coinbase keep some people into shit coins.
I'm going to say it as a Bitcoin non-maximalist. I am pro Bitcoin. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm pro Bitcoin. I am pro Coinbase. I'm a Coinbase defender. You guys think of that?
I think you're wrong, but that's okay.
Not into it.
I'll give you my reasons why. In 20, I don't know the year specifically. Let's say 2015. Some people in a fucking industry that didn't exist rallied around and like put their money on the line. It wasn't my money. People put their money on the line to create a mechanism, to create an exchange that allowed me, Bill, to get an app on my phone. So it wasn't just the fact they did it right. There was a good UX. I have an app on my phone that allowed me to buy and sell Bitcoin. They were an exchange and they are an exchange. And so, yep, they carry more than Bitcoin because that's what the exchanges do. But like people put their money on the line and we look back at them and say, oh, they were on the wrong side of the block wars. So were a lot of smart people, right? It wasn't just like a clear cut discussion. There was some serious debate about what side of that do you want to land on. All I know is fast forward through their progress. These guys got in early, busted their ass off, and they are now IPO'd into a world where like my mom looks and knows what Coinbase is, and that's an entry drug into Bitcoin. Yep, they carry other coins, they do all this shit, but they're a business. At the end of the day, these guys risked a lot of money on a thing that like could have just died early on. And so fuck it, good for them. I'm in, I like it, I like what they did, and I use their product. I said it. Don't kick me off the loop.
I don't think it's that bad of a position.
It was an awesome position.
Yeah, bro, like your position. Anyway, I bought my first Bitcoin at Coinbase. They're like this gateway drug dealer. My problem is that like the way that they've acted since then. I don't think they've been friendly to Bitcoin.
Let me push you on this a little bit for fun because we've been drinking this whole show. What do you mean?
I mean that they are a shitcoin casino. And I think that there's so many noobs that come in and they just get wrecked by it. Like the whole idea that, our fathers taught us that you need to diversify, people come in and they just buy this fucking shit. And
I'm with you.
Bill, I am with you. Like,
why do you want the whole Bitcoin ethos of I'm in charge of myself, like custody, self-sovereign, all that bullshit. But now you're saying this company over here should censor what I'm buying. They should only tell me what I can buy. Where really it's no, let me buy whatever I want. You're an exchange.
You're right. There should be a market for all this bullshit. That being said, I also believe that there is legitimate scams, which is 99% of this bullshit that they're listing. And so they should do more due diligence to not list that bullshit. And that's where,
can I just throw this out there? If they want, I'm sorry, they don't want, if they wanted to do due diligence and not list the bullshit, they would, but they're not. Like, they just listed Tether today. Okay. Like, their MO is to do what is most profitable and politically palatable at the same time and make as much USD as possible, which is fine. Like, that's great for Bitcoin. That doesn't stop Coinbase from being the AOL of Bitcoin, just like AOL was great for the internet, but it was still fucking AOL and went out of relevance. So I suspect that that's going to be the case. That's going to be the case of Bitcoin or of Coinbase the same, because they're short-sighted and they're not thinking about going deep on Bitcoin long run.
I don't think they're short.
It's great, but whatever.
I'm not going to short Coinbase. I think if the question is there a business model to facilitate exchanges for cryptocurrencies in the long run? The answer is yes. Whether Bitcoin goes up or down, that's a different question.
Bill, but what I'm saying is that they aren't going deep enough on Bitcoin, which is 99% of their relevance. They're going horizontal on crypto, which is why I think that they're AOL, because I think that they can curate this crypto experience where people want to trade this stuff like stocks, and that's just not the end game. Bitcoin Magazine has the thesis that Bitcoin is the only thing that matters. We're doubling down on going deep on Bitcoin because we think that that's the only thing that matters. And if Coinbase, they're in position to go deep on Bitcoin, but they're not. They're going deep on DeFi. They're going deep on staking with Tezos. They're going deep on this waste of time. So look, their advantage in Bitcoin is it's going to be short because other people are going deep.
But so back to the do you eat vegetables too question. Listen, I'm a Bitcoin lover, but fast forward 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If the question is, in 10 years, Bill, do you think that like some non-Bitcoin DeFi projects exist and have thrived? Yeah. If you say which ones, I've got no fucking idea. NFT, video game coins or whatever, don't know, right? But fucking there's no way that the only use in the world for blockchain is Bitcoin. There's no.
Well, they'll be on Bitcoin. They'll be on Bitcoin, Bill.
I think we're going to find some real.
Let's talk about buying the dip. So who else bought the dip?
Yes.
Yeah, 5-second wrap up on
Institutions are buying the
Coinbase.
dips.
Coinbase is a mercenary. Okay, I don't fault them for how they act. They're a business. They have a vision of the future. They're trying to make money. However, as a Bitcoiner who has a vision for Bitcoin, I don't think Coinbase is aligned to the vision I have of the future. And so, that's fine, right? They're trying to get your noobs to trade shit coins. That's how they make money. And so I don't recommend the platform. I think it's a horrible place for people to get started. The customer service is bad. The fees are high, and they constantly assault you with marketing to buy XYZ coin that nobody's ever heard of because it's in their best interest. And so are they net positive for Bitcoin? Maybe. I think early days, probably yes. But I think Bitcoin itself is what made Coinbase valuable. And so going forward, what are we talking about here? Like, they're trying to be Binance now. They're going to get out competed as Binance. Selling Bitcoin is going to be done by lots of people. And I don't know. I don't know what the future of Coinbase is. Like, they're going to have to be this weird neobank thing, and they're going to chase profit, chase their tail. And I just don't think they're on the same mission as most Bitcoiners are. And so, whatever, they can do their thing on the side, and that's fine. But I'm not going to recommend the platform.
They're not on the same mission. If this was an episode of The Mandalorian, they're like, and they're trying to get to the same planet. You know what I mean? We're like,
I don't think they are, actually.
I don't think
my mom is going to buy. My mom's going to buy Bitcoin from Coinbase before she buys it from, something else.
It's probably better for your mom to buy GBTC in her Roth or 401k.
Okay, no. Stopping that. Bitcoin is better than GBTC. Shut the fuck up. All right, go.
I agree, but we're talking about your mom. If we're going to go to the end of that argument.
I just want to say this quick point. Like, I don't agree with.
Seriously.
Well, this will make you know that I'm very fucking salty. Okay. So here's the deal. These motherfuckers at Coinbase have lied to us all. Okay. They sell blockchain analysis surveillance to the state.
Yep.
Okay. That's fine with you. Okay. This is a problem with me. They sell it under the guise that they need cash flow to their bottom line. They made like $300K on this deal that they said that they needed for the bottom line. But then they go public and they show that like this was a fucking tiny drop in the bucket for their overall revenues.
They're selling it because it's a profit revenue. It's a revenue stream.
Bill, let him finish.
No. The point is
this
that they are not aligned. They're not aligned with the Bitcoin ethos of personal sovereignty and like everything that like we care about. They're selling this as like, oh, well, we're morally justified to surveil on Bitcoin.
They are selling it for IPO benefit.
Yeah, they're a centralized company making money. They're a company. They're a regular.
They said they needed it to like stay afloat.
Who cares what they said? No,
I care.
Bullshit.
I care what companies say.
They're essential.
I care.
Do you own an iPhone and Nike shoes? Because you don't.
No.
Oh, fair enough.
I wear Adidas and I have an Android. Gotcha, motherfucker.
Okay, so hey, Coinbase is an unethical company. We already know that. You know what?
Agree.
It is very fiat to be an unethical company because that is a fiat thing to do, is chase short-term profit over everything else. That is what we're trying to disrupt. That's what Bitcoin's about, is instill like Bitcoin's not about number go up. Number go up is a Trojan horse to get you onto the path of like long-term thinking and like having a long-term horizon. And so a Coinbase, that's why I call it the AOL of Bitcoin, because it's good for Bitcoin. It's, probably positive for most people that use Coinbase because at least they get into Bitcoin. But beyond that, like they lost the plot. They fucking lost the plot. And I'm sorry, Bill, but they lost the plot. And you can't convince me any other way. They're great. I'm happy they're liquid. I'm happy they're useful and liquid, but they can go fuck themselves. And they lost the fucking plot, okay? And they're going to be the AOL, which helped a lot of people on the internet. But guess what? People came for the internet, not AOL. Just like people came for Bitcoin and not fucking Coinbase.
I don't have a strong argument about them ultimately becoming the AOL. But that said, over the next year or two, if you look at every person who buys a Bitcoin, it's through Coinbase and dismiss
and
that.
Tesla and Michael Saylor, it's good for Bitcoin. No one is staying for Coinbase. They're staying for Bitcoin. That's the point I'm making. It's good for Bitcoin.
Right, but
Bitcoin's anti-fragile as fuck.
Can I say something? I would like to
No!
say
Speak, Josh, speak.
I think that I have this policy where like if I will only ever fight with people that I care about. So like if did everybody just freeze? No, everybody okay, no. So like if I'm calling you an asshole, like in general, it's because I love you. And Bill, you're being kind of an asshole right now.
I'm not saying I chugged 3 drinks.
No, I know. I'm not really calling you an asshole, but I would challenge you. Like, I think that people in general, I will always think people should do what they want to do. And if it's a weird diet, or if they don't want to wear a helmet on their motorcycle or whatever, as long as they're not hurting other people, they should be allowed to do it. I think that Coinbase's policy or what's it called? Coinbase? Is that what it's called? Coinbase?
Yeah.
Coinbase's policies, when they start to focus more and more on crypto, it's just like this. There are victims to that game that they're playing in, right? And it does hurt people, I think.
I guess I just mean that people shit on Coinbase all the time. And it's like, you know what? These guys took a risk really, really early on. And when you talk about how you facilitate Bitcoin purchases, they do it. And so
should they have it passed because they were early?
But that also doesn't justify them participating in shitcoins. I view the shitcoin place as like a minefield where just like some people die, and it's not an even playing field. Like there's a lot of behind the scenes trading and talking that's going on.
I look at shitcoins like penny stocks. And it's
well,
like,
not everybody
we're not
does
like,
that.
oh, can you believe the New York Stock Exchange, an exchange, lists penny stocks? It's like, no, that's their job. They list everything.
But it's an assassin's job to kill people.
Go on.
Hey, yo, so can I just jump in here? It's not the fact. I would actually say it's the fact that Coinbase sells KYC data to the government at a discount is actually a lot more offensive than them selling shit coins. Because I agree with Bill to some degree. Like, idiots are like, exchanges, their job is to facilitate exchange, and idiots are going to be able to trade whatever they want. And I'm happy that people have a free market for trading that shit. But selling your customer KYC data as a data product for compliance purposes when you are a Bitcoin company, and it doesn't even scratch the surface in any form of like reasonable way in terms of your bottom line, like that's just straight unethical. Like, you are a piece of shit. So that's my take on, again, Coinbase. It's like they've shown their colors, and it has nothing to do with the fucking shit coins, because Bitfinex is being defended day in and day out. Tether's being defended day in and day out by Bitcoiners, and it's because they are actually true to Bitcoin. And it's not because they don't have shit coins. They have tons of shit coins. They have Ethernex and fucking EOSFinex and every fucking shit coin around the corner, but they're true to Bitcoin, and Coinbase is not. Coinbase is garbage.
Is EOS
Sorry, they're
real
AOL.
thing?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a real thing, and Bitcoiners still defend fucking Bitfinex because they're actually true to Bitcoin.
What? All right,
Y'all ever eaten a durian before?
Yes.
I haven't.
This is the durian. It's the best food on the entire planet. Wait, who said they have eaten one?
It looks like
I have.
drumstick,
Good.
man. Looks like a drumstick
They
lollipop.
stanky. They
The
stanky.
stanky. So Josh has. Bill, you have?
Yeah, I have.
I haven't.
CK has.
I'm a
Tortilla?
world
Of course I
traveler,
haven't. Of
Brandon.
course I have
okay,
not.
come on. Of course Joe hasn't. He's a redneck.
Fair enough. So
It has chitlins.
chitlins are good.
Corey,
Why is durian the best food on our planet? Josh, go ahead.
Oh man, I don't know if I think it is the best food on the planet. I do like it though. Is that why you put the sunglasses
How
on?
easy is it to differentiate
waiting
between
for this
jackfruit
moment.
and durian?
Oh, great question, CK. I didn't
Very,
even know.
very, very, very different.
I don't even know what that question meant. Yeah, go on.
Jackfruit looks similar to durian. They're both like big, scaly, weird looking fruits. However, jackfruit tastes like juicy fruit bubblegum. If you ever had that, they modeled it after a jackfruit taste.
Did they
It's a
really?
very nice fruit. Yeah, I really like juicy fruit. jackfruit. However, it's not quite the same. You can also make jackfruit unripe, and it actually has like a pulled pork texture. And so for like the vegan taco truck in San Francisco, I guarantee they serve jackfruit tacos.
At our stores, now that you said it, at our stores, we can get a jackfruit, like free whatever. And I'll tell you what, you're out. What you just said is you throw that in a taco, it's really good.
Yeah, it is good. It takes on whatever flavor you want, textures like pulled pork. But a durian itself is actually on the same scale as like wine, chocolate, or any of these other like very, very diverse culinary experiences in terms of like the molecules inside and the diversity. And so it is like peak tasting food on the whole planet. There's thousands of varieties, many different species, flavors, whatever. Has a bad reputation because it can smell. But there's some nuances there, like usually buy it from a durian seller and he just chucks the old ones over his shoulder on the street. Those ones stink really bad. A fresh one, it might have like the same way that a funky cheese has a smell, but it's not altogether offensive, right? The old rotting ones are the ones that are offensive. Yeah, I mean, I could go all day on durian, but I just
Durian is so awesome that they put it in Breath of the Wild in the game. I don't know. You play Zelda, Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Someone told me about this. It's the best food in the game or something, right? You get more points or something.
So yeah, I'm a big Zelda nerd. Yeah, so it's in Breath of the Wild.
Who would have guessed by the little thing behind you there?
My Triforce? Yes.
Triforce. I said little thing there behind you. Shame on me.
I'm glad you
sure all
Sister
the,
Maria,
like,
I could tell that there's
maxis
some
on there.
nerdiness going on in the fam, given the headset and the chair. But I didn't even realize the Triforce
racing
also
chair?
was the trifecta
the
of
secret lab.
nerdiness.
Yeah,
trifecta of nerdiness.
we have two. There's another secret lab chair. Yeah, my husband got them. We're
Do you have
gamers.
side by side gaming rigs?
Yeah. And we have a whole gaming room upstairs. We have I mean every I started gaming
Fucking
when I was
millennial
like 8.
parents.
And
Millennial fucking parents.
well, my husband's 45.
They came.
I'll be 40. Turning 40 this
X.
year.
Let's go, Maria.
And we got our kids into gaming. My daughter, she's 9. She beat Breath of the Wild, which is one of the hardest games ever. And so we introduced her to gaming about a year and a half ago. And so I used to hold the title of queen at Mario Kart. I mean, there was no question. Absolutely none. I will whip anyone's ass in Mario Kart. Now I have to pass on to my daughter.
It feels good, right?
It does. It really does. So now I'm waiting for that turn when she can beat me in chess. So we've taught them chess. But I have to admit, I can't hold a candle to her in Mario Kart. I mean, holy shit, she whips my ass.
This is mission accomplished as
On
mom,
the Switch?
you know.
On the Switch, and we also have Wii. So it's the only one that she can't beat me on, which is the one I started on, which is a Super Nintendo, the
Fucking
Super
D-pad.
NES, the old school one. I mean, that is like burned into my finger memory.
Beat the
No
shit
one,
out of
I
my
can
no
tell that
one
you're
can
intense,
beat me
and the fact
on
that your
that.
daughter can beat you is actually a place of pride.
I'm telling you, y'all might remember that movie, Kid Wizard, I think that was the name of it. It was an old 80s movie, I think, with Fred Savage.
The Wizard.
The Wizard,
The
yeah.
Wizard.
I'm telling you, if there is something like that out
These
there
old
for old
fucks.
school Mario Kart,
Totally.
You remember in that movie when they unveiled the Power Glove?
I had the power.
No.
glove.
yes. Oh
I love how
God.
CK has no idea what we're talking about.
And
You guys should-
remember,
I'm
Wait.
closer to Nick than you guys.
You guys should Google the Power Glove.
I had the Power Glove.
guys
I
are
had,
old as
hell.
I had the mat. Remember the mat that you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
for
one?
the decathlon.
I had
or
the
whatever the fuck.
bazooka. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh my
I had
God,
a
yes.
bazooka.
That was a great. They had some
I'm
great
sorry.
games with it. The bazooka.
I need to end this conversation. I'm drunk. We're 10 minutes over. We haven't done last words yet. You guys are talking about some old ass video games, which means you're nerdy as fuck, and it's over. I'm sorry. This is the end of Citadel Chef's Bitcoin Happy Hour.
This is
Dude,
bullshit.
the power
CK.
glove is
Y'all.
groundbreaking.
I'm
It was
sorry.
great,
I'm
but
sorry.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
CK,
Oh,
we're
dude,
talking about
Quittem.
power glove. Well, hold on.
My millennial
Hold
brother.
on, CK.
What
Before-
is your last word, sir?
My last word is hey, it's springtime, okay? Wherever you are in the United States, mushrooms are gonna start popping up out of the ground like magic little fairy tale little creatures. My advice to you guys is to learn about these things. Maybe you just want to walk through the woods and appreciate them. Maybe you want to learn how to forage them. Maybe you want to try eating them, Joe. Maybe when you're done eating them, you'll put some salt on it, Joe. Either way, I recommend getting into mushrooms. They're fascinating. My DMs are open if you want some advice. I love you guys. This was great.
Let's go. Maximum food talk. Awayslice, the legend. Show Bitcoin, the Bitcoin beefsteak in Miami.
That's a bad
All you-
idea.
All you can consume steak and beer with no utensils or napkins in 2021.
Follow
What more could-
Awayslice.
What more could you ask for? I hope to see you guys there.
What's your last word? Where can people find you?
I'm Awayslice on Twitter.
All right, that's it.
Exclamation
Bill.
point.
I don't hate on people that eat gluten and pasta. I don't hate on Coinbase, and I make a good cocktail. Whoop.
Where can people find you, Bill?
Billy Macdo on everything.
Let's go. Billy Macdo. All right, Sister Maria, and then Joe, close this out.
All right. Let's see. If I've ever offered to cook for you in any way, shape, or form, or invited you over, that is my way of showing you that I love you, along with trying to onboard you onto Bitcoin. But that applies to no one here about onboarding. Last words. Let's see. Bitcoin is freedom. It is a store of value. Buy Bitcoin. Shut the fuck up. I'm bullish as fuck.
All right, let's go. Mr. Joe Rodgers, close this out, man.
All right. Hey,
Stop
look.
us in a shape.
Bitcoin 2021's happening. We're like 99% sold out. Buy your fucking ticket if you have it.
I can't
Promo
fucking
code
wait.
Satoshi. You get some percentage off. I don't even remember. It doesn't matter.
Buy with
You
Bitcoin.
just-
Save $400.
Yeah, $400. I don't know. We just like keep raising prices because demand's too high, and you need to like buy a ticket because they're selling out. That being said, I just want to say this: never forget that the state hates you, and that it is your duty to like resist everything you can. Fuck central bankers. Run your node. Take your Bitcoin off the exchange, and be a like first class Bitcoin citizen. And if you're out there listening and you're a newbie, just keep reading as much as you can and ask questions on Bitcoin Twitter, because we're out there and everyone on this chat will respond to you. That is a fact. So do it. Rock and roll. Fucking Bitcoin. Stack sats. Let's kick ass. Citadel Chefs. This was my favorite chat of the year. That's all I got to say, CK. So much fun. This was the best.
Can we just do
Say
this?
hate to you.
Fuck the live stream. Can we just do this kind of regularly?
I agree.
Yeah,
I want
Have
to
to
see
set up a
everyone's
web.
holiday foods. We should do
I
this
want
around
to
the
see
holiday.
cooking in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Okay,
Yes,
well,
put
so
the
Sister,
cameras in the kitchen. That's the move.
Yeah.
Sister Maria, you have not been. I thought that we were gonna see that, but Sister Maria, you just haven't been in the chat for that long. But there's been all of that. There's
Oh.
been all of that.
Well,
My-
I'm
my-
excited.
I'm glad I
excited.
found you on Twitter. Twitter is an amazing place to find Bitcoiners. That's all I have to
Yes,
say.
yes.
true.
Thank you for inviting me to be part of Citadel Chefs. It's awesome. I enjoy the pictures. I love seeing what everyone cooks up. It's the best.
Welcome to the shit
This is the
show.
best. Hey, if you want in, you need to be posting fucking meat pictures and food pictures on Bitcoin Twitter. I'll find you. I'll find you.
Non-meat
It's a fact.
pictures work fine too. Non-meat pictures work fine too.
Cooking pictures
Sure.
matter.
That
I-
crawfish
cooking-
bisque we did for the
Home
all-time
cooking.
high.
Home
That
cooking.
looked
Cooking
really
pictures
good,
matter,
sister.
but hey, Bill spoke out of turn. Non-meat pictures will turn me off. If you want a chance in, you better be fucking bringing it. No half-ass fucking vegan bullshit.
CK non-meat. What? I mean,
Hey, wait. Sister Maria,
I must have wowed you then with the crawfish bisque.
Did you do
That was my
the, like,
favorite video in the whole group.
I agree.
First you
I didn't
bite
see
the
it.
head, then you take
was
off the
fantastic.
abdomen. That was the
Besides
best.
Bill's refrigerator tour, that was my favorite.
Yes,
I
Bill
love the
and
refrigerator.
Josh's
Yeah,
refrigerator
yeah.
tour.
Yeah,
That was
but, yeah.
amazing.
I missed
Hey,
that
you
one.
guys
I'm
haven't
gonna
had
go back and see
Josh's
it.
fucking mezcal tour.
Hey, really quick,
Talk
Maria,
dirty
did
to
you,
me.
when you
Dominated
did
me.
the bisque, did you do like the stuffing of the crawfish heads? Did
Uh-huh.
you make like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's the way
Yeah,
to go.
clean them out, rinse them, and then do the stuffing. It's very tedious, but it was a
Oh my
day
God,
worth
it's so
tedious.
Can I
So,
order
I
like
love all
100
that
pounds of
stuff.
crawfish up to Minnesota by like Saturday? Or what's like the process there? Can I
FedEx
get
is
those
crazy.
by
I
2
think the
weeks or what?
The process, Brandon, is we go to Maria's house.
yeah, that's the better process.
Yes.
Come on down.
Come south.
Yes,
All
come
right,
on
I've
down.
got a Tennessean boy. Actually, Joe Rodgers knows him, Brad Whitsitt. And
Yep.
his bachelor party in Tennessee, we did a crawfish boil in the back of a cabin, right? Just
What?
like 10 dudes getting destroyed, sitting around eating crawfish all day. But I want to do the same thing in Minnesota, like in the next 2 weeks. And I'm just wondering, it's season now,
Find a fish
right?
market and ask for them to ship it up. I'm
They
sure that would
are
work.
Okay.
they are in season now.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
a good
You've
time.
got at
And
least like another 45 days probably max.
I'm in.
Am I
Not that I'm
wrong?
against going to Sister Maria's house and getting it
Thanks.
proper.
Guys, a
I'll
real
put
quick
on
hey,
story.
Y'all, real
story
quick,
from my- yeah.
Awayslice, go, and then I'm gonna close it out. Go.
Just, so for
He wants to
my
close the stream.
for our
But we're still talking food.
Close yourself out,
rehearsal
CK.
dinner? For our rehearsal dinner in New Orleans, we got 500 pounds of crawfish,
Yeah.
and I sent my little brother in my rental car to get them from some place on Magazine Street. I can't remember the name.
I
Fisherman's
bet it was Big
something,
Fisherman
something.
Seafood. That's the place on Magazine Street.
It was really good. It was like really fantastic. I was sure that I was not going to get. I mean, my rental car just smelled like permanent
Heaven.
Smelled
It smelled like heaven.
uh-huh. Remember it for anyone out there, and y'all are gonna delve into crawfish and you haven't before. Remember to wash your hands very well after. Take some lemon too, because you'll eat crawfish. About an hour later, you'll forget and you wash your hands. You think you washed your hands okay, and you go to rub your eyes.
Rub something else, you
Mm-mm.
know.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
saying.
Rubbing
I
your
love
eyes
the
is the
garlic
least of the
bulbs.
problems.
That's my favorite part of the crawfish is the garlic bulb.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
what is the little secret thing that you put in a crawfish bowl? Because I've
Orange.
heard orange. Okay.
Oh,
That's one
yeah,
thing.
this is true.
Sister Maria.
Orange, lemon. Okay, so we do orange, lemon. We do a couple different types of seasoning, and we do a little bottle of crab and shrimp boil, the Zatarans. And mushrooms are amazing. Oh God, the mushrooms are amazing. So we do potatoes, corn, sausage, mushrooms, and we do oranges and lemons. And garlic.
Have you heard of anyone doing I was with some real rednecks down in South Arkansas, and they did full cans of green beans, and they would open the can of green beans and they would stick it down in the boil, and then
Just the can?
they would all be
That's redneck as fuck, y'all. I'm sorry. I need to cut this one off. If you want more of this shit, You better be posting some food pictures on Twitter so I can invite you Citadel chefs. Otherwise, there's no way in. There's no way in. Honestly, these guys can all let you in, but they're not going to. So you better impress me. I'll let you in maybe if you do a good job, enough job. Nick, fucking roll the commercials, bro. Let's go.
All right,
Is that young Nick right there in the flash?
that is young Nick.
Look at him. Look
Oh
at him.
shit, I've never
Young
seen his
Nick.
face
Talk?
before. Nick, come
There
up
he
on
is.
the camera.
Like young Jamie. Is that the guy you tell everyone? Nick, look that up. Look that up. No, look that up. Like how Joe does to Jamie.
All right.
Yeah, Nick, will you run
It
it?
is a can of green beans.
I've never really heard of the green beans.
Does the can go in your shoe?
Yeah, they drop the whole thing in it.
That's
And
fucked
that
up.
way it stays together so that like, when you come out, you can just like dump the green beans.
Oh, you're not
Instead of it
joking
being all over the
about the cane.
Everybody says that the metal has a great flavor.
What?
Yeah, fuck salt.